Chapter 3507. Chen Zhao and the other three had attacked Tang Guo for no reason and were ruthless. They were punished with 150 lashes and 5 years at the Cliff of Reflection. In less than half a day, the news had spread throughout the Absolute Beginning sect. No one missed the fact that Ji Qi had been punished for hitting Tang Guo without asking for the reason. In an instant, the name Tang Guo had spread throughout the sect. Many people remembered that a few years ago, Tang Guo was still that unreachable talented disciple. At that time, every time they heard rumors about her, it was about her defeating someone, breaking through, getting first place in the trial, and so on. Ever since she had become a cripple, when they heard about Tang Guo again, it was because her foundation had been destroyed that she had become extremely irritable and often got into conflicts with the sect disciples. How could they have seen these things with their own eyes? Since everyone spread the news like this, the truth must be like this. If it wasn't like this, there would definitely be voices saying otherwise, right? Now that Tang Guo had caused such a big incident, it was indeed shocking. Especially since Ji Qi had also been punished. They remembered that Ji Qi was Tang Guo's eldest senior brother. This matter was somewhat interesting. Everyone knew that the disciplinary hall only cared about evidence and nothing else. As long as you had sufficient evidence, it was the same no matter who went there. The disciplinary elder, Su Zong, was a reasonable person. The evidence was conclusive. After entering the disciplinary hall, no one could think of getting someone out until the punishment was over. Junior sister Xiang, why was senior brother Ji Qi punished to the Cliff of Reflection for a month? I heard that he was even whipped. What exactly happened? Tang Xiang was very popular in the sect. Whether it was Ji Qi or Tang Guo, they were all people close to her. After this incident, many people came to ask her about it. It wasn't that they were worried about Ji Qi, but that they were curious and wanted to know. They just wanted to gossip. In the past, they were used to hearing about the once proud son of heaven being in dire straits. Now that he had suddenly won a round, how could they not be curious? Tang Xiang didn't hide anything and told them about the matter. Eldest senior brother was just anxious to save someone and was a little impulsive. I know that sister was wronged and felt wronged, so she applied to see the disciplinary elder. I don't know why senior brother Chen and the others attacked sister for no reason. When they come out, I must ask them clearly. Isn't that simple? He must have held a grudge for a long time. This time, they were just unlucky. Tang Guo happened to have an image stone in her hands, which recorded their actions. Before this, they might have had some conflict. A disciple said, Junior sister Xiang, don't you agree? In this world, how could anyone hurt someone for no reason? To be honest, you've really been blinded by kinship. And I suspect that she came prepared this time. She might have predicted that Chen Zhao and the others would make a move on her, so she brought the image stone back. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? Junior sister Xiang, your heart is too soft. You care too much about her being your sister. However, she doesn't treat you as her sister at all. Look at how much you've taken care of her all these years. If it weren't for you, she wouldn't have been able to stay in the sect. But what about her? Not only did she not appreciate your kindness, she even spoke coldly to you. She even said that you were hypocritical and pretentious. That's right. I think you should just leave her alone. She doesn't even care about her own eldest senior brother. If anything happens in the future, she will definitely harm you. Tang Xiang's eyes flashed with fear, but she quickly suppressed it. No, sister wouldn't do that. Chapter 3508. Junior sister Xiang, I advise you to be careful. I've seen her before and she's very ruthless. Don't be fooled by the fact that she's only in the foundation establishment stage. All these years she's been training outside. Many people have died in her hands because of snatching resources. For some reason, the news of Tangwa killing countless people when she was out training also spread like wildfire in the sect. This news even reached the ears of the Yu Peak's peak master, Yu Heng. One day, Yu Feng called Tang Xiang over. "Master, you're looking for me." Yu Heng looked at the delicate and kind little disciple in front of him and sighed. "Xiang, don't interact with her too much in the future." "Master, she's my biological sister," Tang Xiang said stubbornly. "I should take care of her." "Xiang, your cultivation has been stagnant for a year. Ever since her accident, although your cultivation has been improving, it has slowed down. Don't tell me you didn't notice anything," Yu Heng said. He remembered that Tang Xiang had been awakened from her meditation several times and the words she muttered were all about Tangwa. From the scattered words, he came to a conclusion. Tangwa was going to turn into a demon and kill many people in the future. She would kill her parents, disciples of the sect, him, Yu Feng's people, and Xiang. Now that the other party's talent was crippled, he was more at ease. "Xiang, there are some things you know in your heart. Don't be blinded by the superficial affection. With her current situation, the path she will take in the future is destined to be separated from you. Everyone has their own opportunities. You should have your own path. Don't keep thinking about the past. Otherwise, your cultivation will be stagnant for the rest of your life. Master, let Xiang think about it. Think about it carefully. If you don't let it go, it will affect your cultivation. If you worry about her, she might not appreciate it. Moreover, she's also a disciple of the sect. As long as she doesn't leave the sect, no one can threaten her life. Why do you have to do those things?" Yu Heng said this because he felt that Tang Xiang should not be destroyed because of Tangwa. He had not given away the mixed yuan flame flower in his hand, which made him a little distressed. There were two reasons why he did not give it away. Firstly, Tang Xiang and Tangguo were entangled. If he gave it away, Tang Xiang might give the primordial chaos flame flower to Tangguo. Secondly, if Tang Xiang did not have any contributions to the sect, even if the item belonged to him, it would be hard to avoid gossip if he gave it to the other party. With Xiang's temperament, she might not be able to bear it and it would affect her cultivation. However, he was not in a hurry. There would be plenty of opportunities. Before that, he would let Tang Xiang temper her temper and wait for the day when the time was right. About 10 days later, Tangwa's injuries were completely healed. Sure enough, it was just as she had expected. After taking the spirit-bursting pill, the side effects were a little more severe. Other than that, there were no other effects. Her cultivation level was still at the peak of the foundation establishment stage. She was unable to break through the barrier and condense the golden core. She wasn't in a hurry. She felt that she could find a way out. According to the habits of the original owner, she would stay in the sect for a few days, receive her monthly allowance, and then go out to gain experience. With her current qualifications, she could only receive a small amount of Moon Peak. However, it was better than nothing. Originally, as Yu Heng's disciple, if Yu Heng took care of her, the amount of Moon Peak would not be so little. At least, as Yu Heng's master, he would more or less give his disciple some resources. However, ever since she entered the Moon Peak, Yu Heng was more or less prejudiced against her. Other than one thing that a master must do, he did not do anything else. Chapter 3509. After her foundation was destroyed, the original owner was a proud person and would not ask for resources from Yu Heng. She felt that Yu Heng did not like her and would rather work outside. Tangui chose to go to the snow mountain this time because she had ice spiritual roots. There were many spiritual herbs that were beneficial to ice spiritual roots growing in the snow mountain. Moreover, it would be more beneficial for her to find a place with abundant spiritual energy to cultivate. The moment Tangua stepped out of the mountain gate, someone stopped her. It was a big guy who looked aggressive and scary. The person who stopped Tangua hesitated when he saw that she did not speak. Tangua saw that this person looked silly and hesitant, so she asked, "What's the matter?" I came to beat you." This person was called Zhou. He had just stepped into the golden course stage not long ago. When Tangua asked him this question, he said it. Tangua asked again, "Then why didn't you do it?" Coincidentally, Elder Su Zong said that there were not many people in the punishment hall and they wanted to have a lively scene. If anyone came to beat her, she would report them and send them over. She had plenty of image stones and was never short of them. After all, if bad people did bad things, she had to record their actions, didn't she? Zhou Ru scratched his head and said in distress, "On the way here, I've been thinking about why I hit you." Hearing this, Tangguo almost burst out laughing. But when she remembered her character setting, she quickly held it back. Her face was very serious and she looked very cold. "You thought about it?" "No." Zhou Ru shook his head. "I didn't think about why I hit you." He looked distressed. "Why did I hit you?" "Then why did you come?" Tangua asked again. She felt that this person was somewhat interesting. She narrowed her eyes slightly. There was a faint familiar aura on him, but that aura was not strong. This made it difficult for her to judge. "I also don't know why I came." Zhou Ru thought of something and said seriously, "They said that if I didn't come, they would hit me. And then you came to hit me." No, I didn't hit you." "I didn't hit you." Zhou Ru quickly refuted, as if admitting this would cost him his life. "Did they beat you?" Zhou Ru nodded. "They often beat me. Fortunately, I can take a beating. No matter how serious the injury is, it will be fine in 2 days. Never seen you before. I used to light the fire in the cafeteria." Zhou Ru smiled innocently. "I still don't know why I would hit you. I'll go back first." After saying that, he secretly glanced at Tangua and muttered, "I won't hit you." "System, there's something wrong with this kid's brain. If you don't hit me, you'll be hit. Aren't you afraid of being hit?" Zhou Ru laughed again. He laughed foolishly and patted his chest, saying, "I can take a beating. I'll be fine in 2 days." He also felt strange. He was not afraid of those people beating him, so why did they come? "You're really not afraid of being beaten?" "I can take a beating." Zhou Ru was afraid that Tangguo wouldn't believe him, so he added, "Why don't you try hitting me?" System, where did this big idiot come from? But she felt that the great host was about to burst out laughing. The great host was the kind of person who would smile whenever something happened. It was really difficult for her to pretend to be cold and aloof. She didn't know when this character would collapse. "What's your name?" Tangua had a plan in mind. She felt that if she didn't trick those people who wanted to bully her, it would be a waste of her words. Even her character almost collapsed. Chapter 35:10. Zhou Ru. "Oh, it's Senior Brother Zhou. Senior Brother Zhou, do you know that it's wrong to beat people up for no reason?" Zhou Ru nodded. "I know. Do you like being beaten?" Zhou Ru shook his head. "No, it hurts." Although he recovered quickly, it still hurt. "Senior Brother Zhou, do you want to teach those who beat you a lesson? Let them be punished." Zhou Ru's expression was still silly. He asked with interest, "Do you have any good ideas?" "I have some things here. If Senior Brother Zhou uses them well, you can send them all to the Cliff of Reflection." A space bag appeared in Tangua's hand and she stuffed it into Zhou Ru's hand. This is an image stone. When senior brother Zhou goes back this time, if they ask you if you beat me, just say no. If you don't know the reason for beating me, they will beat you. Perhaps senior martial brother Zhou will have to suffer some physical pain. I'm not afraid of being beaten. Zhou Ru's expression was still silly. When he heard this, he seemed to think that it was possible and did not question it. Good. There are image stones inside. Senior brother Zhou, use them well. Do you know how to hide things? No, just hide them. Don't let anyone find them. I know how to hide. I secretly hid a lot of things. No one can find them. Zhou Ru said proudly. They wanted to rob me before, but they didn't find anything. Tangua nodded. She gave this to Zhou Ru because of the faint aura on his body. Whether it failed or succeeded, she would not lose anything. If she succeeded, there should be a lot more people at the Cliff of Reflection when she came back from her training. What's your name? Where are you going? My name is Tangua. I'm going to the Snow Mountain to train. Oh. Zhou Ru watched Tangua leave and returned with an image stone in a space bag. He took a detour. He took out an image stone from the space bag and put it in his own space bag. Then, he found a place to hide the space bag that Tangua gave him. Then, he went to meet those people. At this time, Tangua had already gone down the mountain and was running in the direction of the Snow Mountain. The snow mountain that Tangua went to was called Sun-Traversing Snow Mountain because it was very high. When the sun was high in the sky, the top of the snow mountain looked like it was going to pierce through the sun. To this day, no one knew how big this snow mountain was. There were countless spirit treasures here and it was very popular among cultivators. Of course, this place was also accompanied by endless dangers. Of those who came in, many gained benefits, but many also lost their lives. The deeper they went, the more dangers they might encounter. Over the years, there had been countless cultivator caves and secret realms exposed in the Snow Mountain. The greatest danger for cultivators here was humans. If I recall correctly, a pocket dimension will appear here soon. When that happens, cultivators from all over will come here to fight for the treasures. As Tangua hurried along, she didn't forget to recall the contents of the storyline. It said that the mysterious power that appeared here alarmed the entire Absolute Beginning sect. When the time comes, the elders of the Absolute Beginning sect who are in seclusion will also come here to check out the situation. Yes, they had also encountered a crisis. This crisis had almost caused the entire sect's experts to perish. When it had nothing to do, the system would also ponder about the storyline of this world, hoping to discover something. In desperation, Tang Xiang solved the mystery and resolved the crisis. That time, the entire Absolute Beginning sect gained a lot, while the other sects suffered countless casualties. Chapter 35:11. The air around them was already freezing cold. If not for the fact that Tangua was a cultivator, she might not have been able to continue moving forward. Even a normal cultivator would not be able to adapt to such a cold place. However, Tangua had an ice spirit root. To her, this place was like taking a stroll in her own backyard. The colder the place, the more advantageous it was for her. It was also because of this that Yu Heng could finally give the mixed Yuan flame flower to Tang Xiang. No one in the sect objected to this. Was the great host trying to stop this? Tangua did not speak for a while. She waited until they entered the snowy mountain before saying, "Don't you think that the plot of this world is too vague? It seems like everything is mentioned, but most of the things that I know are related to me. For example, some of the things that Tang Xiang experienced, for example, the method that she used to solve the crisis was not mentioned. It gives me the feeling that it was purposely made vague." Or maybe I'm overthinking. The system did not think that the great host was overthinking. It had already browsed through the plot countless times. It was indeed as Tangua said, the plot was vague. Only the plot of the original host was clear. As for other things, it was not specific and only mentioned in general. It felt like someone was purposely making the plot vague and did not want the great host to know. Once they entered the snowy mountain, Tangua became alert. The two of them also stopped discussing the plot of this world. The reason why Tangua came to the sun-traversing snow mountain was because she felt that this place was mysterious, powerful, and had countless opportunities. Perhaps she could find the opportunity to condense her golden core here. What she did not know was that Zhou brought an image stone to meet the people who threatened him. As expected, he was beaten up badly. After that, Zhou followed her instructions and went to the disciplinary hall to meet the disciplinary hall's disciplinary elder. You said you were beaten up. Yes, I was beaten up. Zhou still remembered Tangua's words and said, not only did they beat me up, they even wanted to force me to beat up others. I was unwilling and was beaten up by them. Then do you have evidence? Su Zong was interested. The number of disciples who came to the disciplinary hall to complain was decreasing. In these years, no disciples were willing to come to the disciplinary hall. There was only him and a few disciples here. Fortunately, he was powerful and his disciples were not disappointed. Even though there were few people in the disciplinary hall, no one in the sect dared to provoke them. First, it was Tangua who came to complain, and now it was a disciple who looked a little silly. Of course, he was happy. Su Zong narrowed his eyes and watched Zhou leave. Only when Zhou disappeared did he say, this elder has been in the sect for who knows how many years. I have gone to the back mountain countless times, but I have never found an image stone. Master, do you want me to investigate Zhou? Su Zong smacked the head of the eldest disciple who was beside Su Zong. What's there to investigate? What did that Zhou do? Chapter 35:12. The eldest disciple scratched his head. Not really. Then why are you investigating him? Master, don't you suspect that there's something wrong with him? The eldest disciple said innocently. Su Zong slapped him again. I'm just lamenting that this disciple's luck is good. Fortune favors fools. Is that so? As for Tangua's dangerous journey into the snow mountain, she also picked some good spirit herbs along the way. Conflicts were inevitable, but she had rich battle experience and a fierce will to fight to the death. At first glance, people felt that she was not to be trifled with. No one was willing to risk their lives for a small spirit herb, and it was not something too precious. Therefore, her journey was quite smooth. Unknowingly, she had already gone very far into the snow mountain, and the number of cultivators she encountered decreased. The temperature in the surroundings had reached a level that could instantly freeze a person solid. Cultivators who could go deep into this place were at least at the golden core stage. In this place, even golden core stage cultivators might not be her match. Dear host, have you still not found a breakthrough point? No. Tangua shook her head gently. I keep feeling like I'm missing something. Don't worry, I'll cultivate here for a while. I feel that the opportunity is not far away. Cultivating in this place was much faster than cultivating outside. However, because she could not condense a golden core for a long time, the spirit energy in her dantian increased. When the day came for her to condense a golden core, she did not know how much her strength would increase. After spending a day, she found a decent-looking place to cultivate. This place was very beautiful. It was originally surrounded by white snow, but there were beautiful plum blossoms blooming on the white snow here. Every flower was very bright and was completely unaffected by the cold air. After cultivating for about 10 days, she still did not show any signs of condensing a golden core. At this time, she observed her surroundings and found many rare spirit herbs. Therefore, Tangua decided to pick some spirit herbs to exchange for spirit stones. She had too few resources on her, so she could not miss out on any of them. System, it's quite a lot. Dear host, have you forgotten that you still have a system space? You're really a little wronged. Tangua was picking spirit herbs when she heard the voice of someone talking. Moreover, the voice sounded somewhat familiar. She turned a corner and saw a group of people. I've already heard about what happened to the Absolute Beginning sect. Xiang, why do you have to speak up for her? We grew up together. Do you think I don't know what kind of person she is? She is a vengeful person. She must have made preparations in advance to lure you into her trap. Those people were tricked, and your eldest senior brother was just unlucky to run into it. Big brother, is it really impossible to go back to how it was? Xiang, it's not that we don't want to return to our original state, it's that she doesn't want to. She has always been jealous since she was young. When she was young, she could even lay her hands on you, her biological sister. She didn't show any mercy to those of the same clan. Have you forgotten how many people in the clan have been beaten by her? He won't be able to get out of bed for at least 3 to 5 days. The more Tang Sun spoke, the angrier he became. Now that I heard that she doesn't get along well with her fellow disciples, I'm not surprised at all. That's just her personality. But she's still my sister, big brother. But she doesn't even treat you as her sister. Xiang, you're always helping her. Have you ever thought that it's unfair to other people? If she's good, why does everyone think that she's bad? Even her parents don't like her. Chapter 35:13. Xiang, I think Peak Master Yu is right. You should stay away from her. You've done enough these years. Big brother doesn't want you to treat her as an enemy. I just want you to wake up. Tang Xiang sighed. Master saw it and said that my cultivation progress is getting slower and slower. Maybe it's because of Big Sister's influence that I should let go of this matter earlier. Did I really do something wrong? Xiang, Big brother, let's go over quickly. I smell a very sweet smell. It must be a treasure. If I'm not wrong, it should be the ice snow lotus. Coincidentally, I was still thinking about what to bring back for Mother. If it's the ice snow lotus, I can give it to her. Not only did Tang Xiang smell it, but Tang Guo also noticed it. Was it such a coincidence? When Tang Xiang and Tang Sun led the others to the ice snow lotus, Tang Guo had already arrived at the place where the ice snow lotus grew. In front of her was indeed a newly bloomed ice snow lotus. Needless to say, this thing was very useful to her. Big sister. Naturally, Tang Xiang saw that Tang Guo was beside the ice snow lotus. Tang Guo didn't make a move because she was so close to the ice snow lotus, but there was no guardian beast. This made her feel a little strange. She was only at the Foundation establishment peak, so she didn't dare to make a move. She only stood to the side and observed. Big sister, be careful. There's a guardian beast beside the ice snow lotus. Tang Xiang shouted. She didn't care about the ice snow lotus at first, but told Tang Guo to be careful. This reaction time was indeed incomparable to ordinary people. The original owner wasn't good with words, so it was normal that she couldn't fight. This Tang Xiang, after interacting with her so many times, had never once let the cat out of the bag. She was indeed a very high-level white lotus. Tang Sun said, the guardian beast of this ice snow lotus is at least at the late golden core stage. You're not its opponent. Don't go looking for death. The system had already locked onto the surroundings. Tangua's divine sense scanned the surroundings, but didn't find the guardian beast. Thus, she didn't move. Hurry up and get out of the way. If the guardian beast finds out, you'll lose your life. Even if you get the ice snow lotus, you won't have the fortune to enjoy it. Tang Sun didn't think that Tanguo was worthy of the ice snow lotus. Just now, Xiang had said that this ice snow lotus was a gift for his mother. Naturally, it was Xiang Er's. He believed that since Tanguo was no match for the guardian beast, she should not have the snow lotus. Dear host, there's indeed nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't discover any guardian beasts, but I'm not sure if there's a barrier blocking it. I don't feel any danger either. System, so. What else could it be? Of course, it was to pluck the ice snow lotus and keep it in his bag. That was what Tangua did. Under Tang Xiang and Tang Sun's incredulous gazes, she stretched out a hand with many scars and gently plucked the snow lotus. She put it into a jade box, then put the jade box into her interspatial bag. Sister, be careful. Tang Xiang's eyes were wide open, and they were filled with worry. With such a comparison, the people who came along could not help but shake their heads. There was indeed a traitor in the Tang family. He had long known that the former genius had a bad temper. Now that he saw it today, it was indeed so. Tangua didn't want to do anything immediately to prove her innocence to the world. Now, no matter how much she explained, it would be pale and powerless. Most people wouldn't believe her. Since this was a world that revered strength, then what she needed to do was to increase her strength. Chapter 35:14. Xiang be careful. Tang Sun shielded Tang Xiang behind him, not letting her get close to Tangua. Don't go over. Tang Xiang wanted to go over but was stopped by Tang Sun. Tang Sun was much stronger than Tang Xiang and couldn't break free. Tang Sun glanced at Tangua as if to say, if you provoke the guardian beast because of your greed, you can't blame anyone when you die. Tangua glanced at him and said, don't be afraid. You didn't touch the ice snow lotus. Even if the guardian beast appears, it won't attack you. With that, Tangua walked inside. She felt that there was no danger. Perhaps there was something strange about this place for the guardian beast to not appear. Even if it appeared, she would be able to move faster in this snowy mountain and have a way to escape. Big brother, let's go and take a look. I'm worried. Tang Xiang and the others followed Tangguo for about an hour. When they discovered that there were really no guardian beasts, they were very surprised. Along the way, Tangguo picked many spirit herbs and didn't encounter any danger. This made Tang Xiang and Tang Sun frown. The people who followed them looked at Tangguo with burning eyes. Big sister, I want to exchange the ice snow lotus with you. Tang Xiang saw that Tangguo had obtained countless spirit treasures and she didn't find anything, so she had an idea. I haven't gone back to see my parents in a long time. This ice snow lotus is just right. Big sister, don't worry, I won't take it for free. I'll exchange it with something and won't let you suffer a loss. Big sister, you can choose whatever you want from my space bag. No exchange. If she exchanged it, it wouldn't be in line with her character. Anyway, she was a bad person in everyone's eyes. How could she be a good person? Even if she exchanged it, she wouldn't get anything good. People would say that Tang Xiang was sensible and calculative. No matter what, she wouldn't exchange it. Tang Sun said, "You're lucky today to have obtained so many good things. However, it won't be easy to take them out. Just tell me what you want." Xiang is just being filial. She doesn't like your ice snow lotus and wants to exchange it for her own use. If you agree, I can escort you back to the absolute beginning sect. Tang Guo felt that these words were funny and couldn't be bothered to respond. No. Tang Sun wanted to say something but was stopped by Tang Xiang. Big brother, if big sister doesn't want to, then forget it. Tang Guo continued to walk deeper into the cave. Tang Xiang kept saying, "It's better to go out with my sister. I don't feel at ease." Tang Guo was very clear about Tang Xiang's plan. Her guess had already come true. When they came across another very precious spirit medicine, Tang Xiang first shouted and pointed to a place. Tang Sun was very fast, pulling her along as he ran towards that place. System, dear host, how did Tang Xiang discover the treasure so quickly? Does she have something like a treasure hunting mouse on her? Maybe. Tang Guo didn't chase after him. She had already expected such a thing to happen. She didn't have a special solution for the time being. After all, Tang Sun was very powerful. Host, there's a restriction around the spirit herb. My vision was deceived and I didn't notice it for a while. It's not your fault. I didn't see it either. Tang Guo was already very satisfied. She had obtained enough things today. Moreover, something with a restriction might really have a guardian beast. It was good that she didn't discover it. That's great. Big brother, I have a gift from mother this time. This extreme cold Lingji is not inferior to the ice snow lotus. Tang Xiang was very happy and was about to pick it. She didn't think there was a guardian beast at all. Tang Guo had picked so many spirit herbs but didn't encounter any guardian beasts. This place probably didn't have any guardian beasts. Dear host, there's movement. Chapter 35:15. Tang Guo had already sensed it. She quickly retreated. Just as she retreated, the snow cliff next to Tang Xiang suddenly collapsed. The snow-white python soared into the air and swept its tail towards Tang Xiang's position. Even though Tang Sun reacted quickly and pulled Tang Xiang back, the two of them were still heavily hit to the ground and were both injured. Without waiting for the two of them to react, the white python continued to attack their position. Tang Sun had to protect Tang Xiang and deal with the python at the same time. He was indeed in a difficult situation. The rest of the people saw the situation and quickly went to help. However, one of them actually ran to pick the extreme cold Ganoderma. When he wanted to run outside, he was discovered by the python. The python's long tail hit that person, causing him to spit out blood and lose his ability to move. A nascent soul stage python. Run! Tang Sun's expression changed. He shouted and ran with Tang Xiang. The rest of the people were also frightened and ran behind the two of them. As for Tang Guo, she had already found a place to hide and watched the python chase after the few people. The system covered the area within 100 miles and reported to Tang Guo about the situation of the python chasing after Tang Xiang and the others. As for the severely injured person, when he saw Tang Guo walk out, he reached out to her. Save me. The python's attack was merciless. This person was only in the early stage of the golden core stage. After being mercilessly attacked by a nascent soul stage cultivator, he was completely immobilized. At this moment, the surrounding snow cliff was actually slowly collapsing. If they didn't leave now, they would be buried here. Take me out. I'll give you the extreme cold Ganoderma. As he spoke, the person quickly took out the extreme cold Ganoderma from his space bag and was about to hand it to Tang Guo. If it's not enough, I'll give you the rest. Tang Guo stared at him for a while. Suddenly, her lips curled into a smile. This smile was a little evil and a little cold. I remember that you used to snatch my resources and even mocked me. You went around saying that I was evil and evil. You were right. I'm indeed very evil. Tangua didn't even look at the extreme cold Ganoderma in his hand. She didn't care about it at all. She liked this place. This snow mountain really suited her taste. She liked the way things were done. So, you lost. An old voice rang out, "Ha ha ha, I knew this little girl wouldn't want the extreme cold Lingji. Kid, hand over your plum blossom brew. She just has a grudge against that person, so she's a bit arrogant." Old man Shui, she didn't hold back when she was picking those spiritual herbs. Humans are all greedy and ugly. There is no exception. The one below is indeed ugly. Then, the old man will bury him and let him rest in peace. Although the voice was clearly loving and kind, the words that came out of his mouth sent chills from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. As soon as Tangua walked out of the place, a small snow mountain behind her collapsed completely, burying everything inside. She turned around to take a look. Just now, she felt like someone was spying on her. She found out. It was still the same young voice from before. No, she's only at the foundation establishment stage. How could she have found out? Old man Shui, why don't we just bury her as well? People will turn bad. You've already lost. You have to do two things. First, hand over all your plum blossom brew. Second, unless she really becomes greedy and ugly, you're not allowed to kill her. For a moment, the air was very quiet. After a long time, the young voice sounded again. Then let her live for a few more days. When she becomes ugly, I'll personally kill her. Not long after, the white python returned to its original place. Second Mang, why are you covered in injuries? You're dealing with a few brats who haven't even reached the nascent soul stage, and you're still in such a sorry state. Old man Shui asked curiously. The python opened its mouth, looking very fierce, as if it was very angry. It spoke in human language. Old man Shui, I don't know what happened either. I was repelled by a force and then they disappeared. I'm even covered in injuries. It's very strange. Infuriating. Embarrassing. I'm going to go into seclusion. If there's nothing, don't call me. Aren't you going to drink the plum blossom brew? I'm not drinking. As soon as Tangua walked out of the snow mountain, she felt a few burning gazes fall on her. Faintly, there was a killing intent. In her heart, she knew that the news of her harvest in the snow mountain had been spread. Chapter 35:16. Stop right there. Tangua had only taken 2 steps when a group of people stopped her. The one leading them was a cold-looking young man. His gaze had been sizing up Tangua. He seemed to have sensed that she was only at the perfected foundation establishment realm and had yet to reach the golden core realm, so he didn't care about her anymore. If you want to pass by, leave the space bag behind. I advise you to be sensible. You're only at the perfected foundation establishment realm. It's already a great fortune for you to be able to walk out of here alive. Don't take these things that will cost you your life. The reason why they didn't attack Tangua directly was because there were other people around who were eyeing her covetously. Once they attacked, if this little cultivator had some kind of trump card, it would also cause them a certain amount of damage. At that time, if other people attacked them again, they would suffer a great loss. They didn't want to work for others. Do you see those people around you? The cold-looking young man saw that Tangua didn't speak and thought that she was hesitating. He wasn't a fool. Someone who could come out of the snow mountain with a great harvest, even if they were only at the perfected foundation establishment realm, definitely had some ability. If it weren't for those people around them, he wouldn't have to worry so much even if the few of them worked together. As long as you hand over the space bag to us, we'll escort you out. With us around, they won't dare to do anything to you. His words were so nice, but in reality, once they got the things, they would definitely turn around and leave. They wouldn't care about her at all. Only a fool would believe that. However, Tangua found the identity of the young man in front of her from her memories. This person was at the mid-stage Golden Core realm and led a group of early-stage Golden Core realm cultivators. They were in the business of robbing people. For example, the snow mountain in front of her. They wouldn't go in to look for things themselves. They would just guard outside and send people to gather information. Then, they would wait here for people who had a good harvest. Originally, this young man would definitely not provoke a disciple from the Taichu sect like her. However, she was only from the Taichu sect. She wasn't valued and was even reviled and hated by everyone. If she died outside, no one would investigate. Whether it was the system or the surrounding people, they all felt that Tangua wouldn't hand over the things even if she risked her life. Indeed, Tangua did not intend to hand over the item. When it came to escaping, she was more experienced. She was thinking about how to escape. These people were wary of the people around them and did not dare to make a move directly, which gave her time to think. However, right at this moment, Tang Xiang and Tang Sun appeared. The people beside them looked rather wretched. Tang Sun also had some bloodstains on his body. Tang Xiang, on the other hand, looked completely unharmed, as if she hadn't suffered much damage. With Tang Sun's protection and Yufeng's treasures, it was normal for him to be unharmed. For the past few days, Tang Sun and Tang Xiang had been following behind Tangua, but they hadn't gained anything. As long as there was no barrier around those treasures, the first one to discover them would be Tangua. The only extreme cold Ganoderma that had an enchantment was actually guarded by a giant python guardian beast, which almost cost them their lives. When Tang Xiang saw Tangua, she rushed to her side happily. "Sister, are you okay?" Without waiting for Tangua to answer, Tang Xiang continued to ask, "Where's Senior Marshal Brother Liu?" After she finished asking, she was still looking around. Tangua thought to herself, "Here he comes. Senior Marshal Brother Liu." Tangua was silent for a moment, then said, "Isn't Senior Marshal Brother Liu with you?" Chapter 35:17. Sister, I remember that Senior Brother Liu was the one who plucked the extreme cold Lingji. We were attacked by the giant python and had no choice but to deal with it. Where did you hide at that time? Did you see Senior Brother Liu? After the giant python chased us away, you didn't come out with him. Tangua glanced at Tang Xiang and said coldly, "When the giant python appeared, I sensed that its cultivation was very high. It was definitely above the nascent soul stage. I was no match for it. And then I was terrified." System. Tangua said seriously with a cold expression, "You were all chased by the giant python, so I had to run too." She didn't need to say anything else. What she meant was that she had already run out, but she didn't know where Senior Brother Liu had gone. "You really didn't see Junior Brother Liu?" Tang Sun and the others looked at Tangua suspiciously. "I remember that Junior Brother Liu was almost killed by the giant python's attack. Even though his cultivation was at the Golden Core stage, the giant python was unfathomable. It had already made him lose the ability to fight. After the giant python chased us away, you also left." In other words, he was suspecting Tangua. That disciple surnamed Liu didn't appear here. It was very likely that Tangua had snatched his extreme cold Lingji and killed him. How did it feel to be questioned by his own brother about whether he was the murderer, yet he had never been believed? It was no wonder that her heart was filled with sorrow and helplessness. They were her blood relatives, but every time something happened, no one gave her a chance to explain herself. Almost instantly, they put a bad label on her head and pressed it down hard. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't take it off. If I didn't leave, would I have waited for the giant python to come back and eat me? Tanggua's words made the surrounding people laugh. Indeed, Tang Sun's question was a little retarded. You really don't know where junior brother Lu went? Tang Sun frowned. He remembered that junior brother Lu's injuries were very serious. It would have been easy for a perfected foundation establishment cultivator to kill him. You want to see the image stone? Tanggua asked the system in her mind, is the editing done? It's done. Great host, I guarantee that the editing will be clear when they run away. Also, it will make people think that you ran away before them. Tang Xiang and Tang Sun were stunned when they heard Tanggua say that there was an image stone. Not waiting for them to ask anything, Tanggua took out the image stone. Suddenly, the image of the image stone fell on the ground, allowing everyone to see it clearly. Of course, this was recorded from Tanggua's point of view. It recorded Tang Xiang and Tang Sun rushing to the extreme cold Ganoderma. Just when they were about to pick it, the giant python appeared. The giant python began to attack them, and the others quickly went to help. One of the silhouettes was heading towards the extreme cold Ganoderma. His face was filled with excitement as he picked the extreme cold Ganoderma and put it away. This video was not edited. At this moment, the image stone was already far away. Tanggua explained at the right time, I'm just a foundation establishment cultivator. I'm very afraid of the giant python with a high cultivation level, so I immediately chose to retreat. The surrounding people expressed their understanding. If you don't run away when you encounter such a giant python, do you want to risk your life? There was nothing wrong with that. Then, they saw the giant python injuring the disciples surnamed Lu and Tang Sun fleeing with Tang Xiang and the others. Chapter 35:18. However, the image stone didn't stop recording. It recorded Tanggua walking out of the snowy mountain. It was obvious that she had left the snowy mountain from the beginning. She really didn't know about the situation with disciple Lu. Seeing this, Tang Sun also knew that he had misunderstood Tanggua. Even so, he had no intention of apologizing. Tanggua's immediate escape showed that she was timid. They were all in danger, and junior brother Lu was seriously injured, but she didn't know how to help. They had clearly lured the giant python away, but she was still unwilling to help. It was obvious that she was a cold and heartless person. Tanggua knew what Tang Sun was thinking when she saw his expression. We lured the giant python away. Why didn't you bring junior brother Lu with you? Tang Sun asked. Tanggua was very direct and didn't beat around the bush. Are you sure the giant python was lured away by you and not chased after you until you fled? There are so many of you. Why didn't you bring disciple Lu with you? Tanggua sneered. I'm not related to him. Why should I bring him with me? You're in cahoots. When you were in danger, you only cared about running for your own lives. Tang Sun felt his face burning. He also felt the gazes of the people around him. He really didn't think so much before. He only thought that since the giant python didn't attack her, she should bring junior brother Lu with her. Are you done with your interrogation? Tang Sun didn't say anything. Tang Xiang spoke again. Sister, let's go together. These people are eyeing you covetously. If you go alone, I'm afraid it'll be dangerous. As long as they left with Tang Sun and Tang Xiang, those people wouldn't dare to touch them. After all, Tang Xiang was Yu Heng's disciple. Tang Sun's status wasn't low either. They didn't want to make enemies. The cold young man who stopped Tanggua just now was also disappointed. However, he didn't leave. He had heard that Tanggua didn't get along with Tang Sun and Tang Xiang. She was also a bit arrogant. She might not go with them. Tanggua indeed wouldn't go with Tang Sun and Tang Xiang. If she went with them, she was afraid that her leg wouldn't be able to reconnect. Come with us. Tang Sun spoke again. I'm afraid those people want to snatch your ice snow lotus. You can't take it with you, so why don't you give it to me for safekeeping? When we get back, I'll give the ice snow lotus to Mother. When the time comes, I'll give you one of the pills I refine. Tang Guo looked at Tang Sun as if she was looking at an idiot. As expected, it was better not to be related by blood. Was this what a biological brother would say to his biological sister? Big sister, Big Brother's idea is really good. Big Brother did this because he was afraid that you would feel uncomfortable and unwilling to accept this favor. All these years, we have repeatedly offered you help, but you have always rejected us. You said you'd escort me out. Tang Guo turned to the young man from before. If you escort me out, I'll give you the ice snow lotus. How about it? The cold young man quickly smiled. Okay, we'll accept this mission. As long as you give us the ice snow lotus, we'll escort you out. Okay, I'll go with you. Sister, they're all up to no good. Why do you have to go with them just because you're angry? What's the difference between this and entering a tiger's den? However, Tang Guo didn't seem to hear him. She followed the cold young man. When I'm safe, I'll give you the ice snow lotus. Chapter 35:19. Tang Guo emphasized to the gloomy young man as if she really believed that they would escort her out safely. The gloomy young man smiled and said, Sure, sure. Which sect are you from, fairy? In reality, he knew which sect Tang Guo was from. He asked so loudly just to let the people around them know that Tang Guo still had some status. Not everyone here knew Tang Guo and knew her background. The Taichu sect. Tang Guo was very cooperative. If she didn't cooperate, how would they kill these people later? Presumably, these people were also thinking of finding a place where no one was around to secretly kill her and steal her treasures. These people were all sly old foxes. They might be able to tell that Tang Xiang wasn't sincere to her. Tang Xiang's acting skills were indeed good, and she was also good at pretending. It wasn't impossible that no one would notice that she wasn't what she appeared to be. However, when it didn't affect their own interests, who would be willing to expose the truth? People like Father Tang, Mother Tang, Tang Sun, and Yu Heng might be a mystery. But the bystanders around them, were they really that clueless? This gloomy young man's eyes flashed with a cold light from time to time. He was still willing to accept this job and knew about her relationship with Tang Xiang, but he still wanted to make a move on her. This meant that he had already seen through her. Tang Xiang's concern and worry for her were only on the surface. How many people would care about a sister who didn't even care about her own brother? Tang Xiang tried to stop Tang Guo twice but couldn't. In the end, Tang Sun stopped her. If she wants to go, then let her go. When the time comes, she'll be responsible for her own life and death. Everything is her choice. She would rather believe some unknown outsider than us. Even if she dies outside, she only has herself to blame. Xiang, don't worry about her. Tang Sun left with Tang Xiang and really didn't ask about Tang Guo's whereabouts anymore. Tang Guo also left with the gloomy young men. When the others saw this, they had already dispersed. They didn't want to be rebuffed. They didn't want to provoke the Taichu sect. After rushing for half a day, Tang Guo pretended not to know that she was being led by the nose by those people. When she heard them say that there was a treasure, she would follow them. They came to a very remote place with almost no human habitation. The grass in this place was all withered and yellow, and the surrounding spirit chi was also very thin. How could a heavenly spirit treasure be born here? At this time, Tang Guo also realized that something was wrong. When the cold-looking young man saw that Tang Guo quickly dodged and looked at them warily, he laughed. It's too late for you to react now. Hand over your interspatial bag, and we can still spare your life. It was impossible to spare Tang Guo's life. The other party seemed to have an image stone in their hands. When the time came, their actions would be recorded. Even if they were not valued, the absolute beginning sect would not tolerate someone slapping their face like this. They would definitely send people to deal with them. He might as well kill her once and for all. If I give you my interspatial bag, will you really let me go? Naturally, if we don't let you go, you won't be able to escape, right? We only want money, not lives. Tang Guo took the interspatial bag from her waist. While she was hesitating, the cold-looking young man became a little impatient and hurriedly urged her to hand it over. In the end, Tang Guo threw the interspatial bag over. The young man also asked her to hand over the Dharma treasure. You have to think carefully. It's better to hand it over so that you don't lose your life. Tang Guo didn't move. When the young man checked the interspatial bag, she revealed a strange smile. The young man seemed to have sensed something, but it was too late. He heard an explosion. Peek. Chapter 35-20. The things that Tang Guo threw out to explode were none other than monster cores. The monster cores were not hers. They were killed by the original owner of the body, and she was going to exchange them for spirit stones. After she came, she did not have time to deal with these monster cores. She went to see her parents first, then returned to the sect to deal with some things before going to the snow mountain. Therefore, there were still many monster cores left in the space bag. The reason why she could hunt so many monster cores was that this cultivation world was not peaceful. Monster beasts were rampant, and there were often demonic beasts who lost their minds and attacked cultivators in their territory, killing them at will. Not to mention cultivators, demonic beasts that went crazy would even kill their own kind. It should be said that they would kill any living thing they saw. There was no way to control them at all. When cultivators accepted the mission of hunting demonic beasts, the monster cores of the demonic beasts they hunted would belong to them. In addition, they would also receive a certain reward. However, hunting demonic beasts was very dangerous, and there was basically a slim chance of survival. The disciples of large sects were usually protected by elders when they went on adventures. Without anyone to protect them, they could only pray for their own good fortune. When she saw this cold young man, she had already thought of how to deal with him. Even if he was a middle-stage golden core cultivator, he would not be able to withstand the explosion of so many monster cores. Coincidentally, the formations and restrictions she knew were very advanced. When the monster cores were detonated, their power could be maximized. When the dust in front of her dispersed, the cold young man on the ground was on the verge of death from the explosion. She did not hesitate at all, and without giving him any chance to speak, she went over and stabbed him a few more times. After dealing with all of them, she felt slightly more relaxed. It was not easy to blow up these people. The timing had to be precise. In addition, with her current cultivation level, using formations and restrictions was indeed a bit difficult. Now, she was a bit exhausted. However, she could pretend that her expression did not change, and no one could see anything. At this moment, her face was extremely pale. After recuperating for half a day, she planned to go to the market and sell some of the spiritual herbs in her hands. Also, she had to find a pill refiner to help her refine medicine. She could refine it herself, but without a golden core, she could never refine advanced pills without an alchemy fire. Some low-level pills could be refined with external fire, but for a top-grade spiritual herb like the ice snow lotus, it could not be refined with external fire. It was basically a waste. She went from house to house. She didn't take everything out all at once. She disposed of some of the spiritual herbs that she didn't need and left behind a few of the more precious ones. As for the snow mountain, she still had to go there later. She felt that she had a chance to condense her golden core there. Refining this snow lotus into an elixir could slightly restore her ice spirit root. Even if it was just a little, she had to give it a try. Now that he no longer needed to deal with the spirit herbs, he had to find an alchemist with good character. She searched through her memories and soon found a suitable candidate. Then, he went to the medicine market. There was a strange and bad-tempered alchemist here. His name was Ling Xing. Although they were not easy to get along with, the other party would not be greedy. At the very least, they would not try to kill him for the ice snow lotus's preciousness. The place where alchemist Ling Xing was active was basically in the medicine market. It was said that if one wanted to concoct pills, they had to come to the medicine market to find him. Once they found him, he would concoct pills for them. When Tang Guo arrived at the medicine market, many people were looking around and discussing where alchemist Ling Xing was. She did not run around aimlessly like the others. Her mind was constantly recalling information about Ling Xing, but there was too little information. Ling Xing's appearance was different every time he appeared, so it was very difficult to find him. Chapter 35-21. She started walking from the streets of the medicine market. The first thing she saw was the crowd, followed by the stalls on both sides, and then the dazzling array of spiritual herbs. System, host, it said that this Ling Xing has played all kinds of roles. I suspect that he's a role-playing enthusiast. There's no problem with his hobby, but it's a little difficult to find. Then we'll take our time to find him. Let's do a process of elimination. First, we'll eliminate those impossible people. The medicine market is only so big, so we'll definitely be able to find him. Record the people who came in later and exclude them. Ling Xing has always been in the medicine market and won't go out. The person who came in is not him, and the person who left is not him. Okay, then let's move. Although many people were excluded, if the remaining people asked Tang Guo who Ling Xing was, she wouldn't be able to tell. She wasn't anxious at all. An expert with such ability and a slightly eccentric temper either acted differently or like an ordinary person. She found that many people were staring at those who stood out from the crowd and had very distinct personalities. There were also some people who were observing those who looked ordinary. For example, there was one next to her. Many people were staring at him, afraid that he would run away. Although this person doesn't look good, I suspect that he's Master Lang. That makes sense. Master Lang has played countless characters. We can't judge a book by its cover. Maybe this is Master Lang. Surrounded by several people, the thin man trembled and felt very uncomfortable. He cried out, "I'm really not Master Lang. I'm just here to sell medicine. Look in my basket. These are all the spiritual herbs I just picked. By the way, do you need anything?" This person used the spiritual herbs to divert our attention. Maybe he's afraid that we'll find evidence that he's Master Lang. Tang Guo glanced at the thin man. This person was indeed a little ugly, which was rare in the cultivation world. His skin was sallow, and there were large and small spots on his face. His cultivation was at the foundation establishment stage. This person isn't Master Lang. Tang Guo said to the system, "Is there a record of him coming in?" Yes, he's really not Master Lang. He's really here to sell medicine. Tang Guo continued to wander around. She came to a stall. The reason she came here was not because of anything else, but because the scene here attracted her. There were too many people here earlier, so she didn't come over to take a look. Now that those people seemed to have eliminated this person as a suspect, she finally had the chance to observe carefully. Alchemy. Tang Guo lowered her head and saw the words, "Pill Refining," written in front of the stall. The other party was sitting there casually, and there was a very old and even somewhat broken pill furnace in the stall. He looked especially like a swindler. Hearing Tang Guo's muttering, the man wearing a gray robe opened his eyes and looked at her. He didn't look very outstanding, but he wasn't ugly either. He faintly asked, "Alchemy. What kind of pills can you refine here?" There were two things that caused Tang Guo to stop. Firstly, she suspected that this person was Leng Xing. Secondly, it was that familiar aura that came from the soul. This made her a little confused. This familiar aura that came from the soul, she had felt it on Zhou Ru. Why was it on this person now? Although it was faint and very thin, she was not wrong. Could it be that his soul had split into several pieces when he was traveling? But it didn't seem like it. "I'll refine any kind of pill. If I succeed, I'll take 30% of the pills as payment. If I fail, I won't compensate." The man in the gray robe sat up and picked up the broken pill furnace on the ground. A flame appeared on his fingertip. Even though it was burned by the pill fire, the pill furnace was still very old. He emphasized, "Hurry up, the fire is already lit. If you want to refine, take out the spiritual herbs. If you don't, you'll have to pay 10 spirit stones for the fire." System, host, this is a swindler. Just now, I saw a lot of people being extorted 10 spirit stones here. No one dared to take out their precious spiritual herbs when they saw this person take out a broken pill furnace to refine pills. The main thing was that sentence, "If I don't succeed, I won't compensate," which made people retreat. "Host, Tang Xiang and Tang Sun are here. They're coming in your direction." Chapter 35-22. Tang Guo glanced back. She could feel that Tang Xiang wasn't coming for her. Instead, she was coming for the broken pill furnace. Her guess was right. Tang Xiang was most likely reborn. Otherwise, she would appear at the right time every time. Refine. Tang Guo took out the ice snow lotus from her space bag. This is it. Seeing the ice snow lotus in the jade box, the man in the robe narrowed his eyes and said, "I won't compensate you if you break it, no matter how expensive it is. Master, please refine as much as you want. You don't need to compensate." Tang Guo was sure that this person was Leng Xing. But why did Leng Xing have that kind of aura? "All right, sit and wait." "Master, I want to refine pills." Tang Xiang rushed to the front of the stall and took out a jade box. Inside was the extreme cold Ganoderma. As for whether or not it was the same one from before, only Tang Xiang and Tang Sun knew. "Grandmaster, concoct the pill." The man in the gray Daoist robe raised his eyes and glanced at her. He still said in an indifferent tone, "Only 1 furnace a day." "Master Leng, I finally found you. Please help me. Didn't you say that you would help me refine pills if I found you? This fellow Daoist found me first. I've already started the furnace. Please change it to tomorrow." Tang Xiang looked back at Tang Guo and seemed to have just reacted. She was shocked. "Sister, why are you here? What's with the noise? Do you have bad eyesight?" "Of course she's here to ask me to refine pills." Leng Xing was impatient. He rebuked Tang Xiang. Not only that, but his next words were even more vicious. "Not only are your eyesight bad, you're probably deaf. Your brain probably isn't working well either. I already said that I have a furnace today. She's standing here, other than asking me to refine pills, what else is she doing?" Leng Xing didn't notice Tang Xiang's stiff expression and said, "Hurry up and leave. Don't disturb me when I'm refining pills. You can stay here, but shut your mouth. You're like those chickens on the mountain, clucking non-stop. It's so noisy. Tanggua, although Master Lang's temper isn't good, his words are good. System, actually, some geniuses and talented people can be forgiven if their tempers are slightly bad. Master Lang, aren't you going too far by saying that? Xiang only wanted to ask you to refine pills because she found you. Tang Sun wanted to speak up for Tang Xiang, but before he could finish, he was rendered speechless by Lang Xing's gloomy face. Lang Xing glanced at him indifferently. Do you not understand human language, or is there a problem with your comprehension ability? I've already said that I'll only make one batch a day. I'm not qualified for today. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Isn't it annoying? Master Lang, I'm sorry to have disturbed you. I'll come again tomorrow. Tang Xiang pulled Tang Sun back. She knew that Lang Xing had a very strange temperament. If she liked him a lot. If she didn't like him, she could say anything. Moreover, she was especially vicious. Now, her heart was filled with panic. She had encountered such things twice recently. First, it was that Su Zong from the sect, who didn't give her any face at all, and then there was this Lang Xing. The extreme cold Lingji in her hand could only be refined in Lang Xing's hands. Moreover, it had the best effect and had the least impurities. She had the intention of befriending this alchemist called Lang Xing. Sister, I've been very worried about you these past few days. You. Chapter 35-23. Tang Xiang changed the topic and whispered to Tanggua. Unexpectedly, before she could finish, Lang Xing interrupted her again. If you want to quarrel, go outside. Master Lang, you're deliberately targeting Xiang, right? I don't know when Xiang offended you, but Xiang is whispering to someone and isn't making any noise. Tang Sun couldn't stand it anymore. He definitely had to protect his sister, regardless of whether it was Master Lang or Master Li. This time, Tang Xiang was indeed a little wronged. She also wondered if Lang Xing was deliberately targeting her. However, she didn't say anything and only looked in Lang Xing's direction. She looked a little wronged, but it didn't make people feel that she was being pretentious. Come, tell me, is she noisy? What Tang Xiang didn't expect was that Lang Xing held the burning pill furnace in one hand and looked up at Tanggua, asking her to answer this question. So noisy. Tanggua was very cooperative. Now that she had a request from Master Lang, of course she had to cooperate and cater to his interests. It just so happened that she also liked to tear apart a white lotus. Lang Xing actually laughed, and even laughed out loud. However, the smile didn't reach his eyes, making people feel that this smile was full of ridicule. Did you hear that? Lang Xing said to Tang Xiang, she also said that you're noisy. Sister. This time, Tang Xiang looked at Tanggua with a wronged expression, causing the surrounding people to look at each other. Tanggua explained seriously, you are indeed noisy. Shut up, don't disturb Master Lang from refining pills for me. Xiang is noisy. Why are you so unreasonable? Tang Sun couldn't stand it anymore and hurriedly stood up for Tang Xiang. Clearly, he had forgotten that Tanggua was also his biological sister. Tanggua's lips curved slightly and said, if you don't like a voice, no matter how quiet it is, it's still noisy. You're interesting. This time, Lang Xing glanced at Tanggua again, and the words that came out of his mouth were still as poisonous as before. Obviously, you've already seen that she's not what she looks like. This Dao hates this kind of pretentious person the most. Previously, she acted like she was concerned about you, like a wild chicken picking clothes to wear in the mountains. No matter how you learn, she doesn't seem like a human. System, that's too vicious. How is he still alive with such a vicious mouth? No one killed him. Tang Xiang was indeed infuriated. Even if she had a good temperament, she still couldn't take it when someone said that again and again. Grandmaster, you've gone too far. Isn't it? Ling Xing's expression was indifferent. His facial features were clearly not outstanding. When this person walked in the crowd, he was the kind of person who blended into the crowd. However, Tang Guo suddenly felt that this person was indeed an expert. He had a pair of particularly bright eyes. His words were very pleasant to the ears. She really wanted to be friends with such a person. If you don't think you're such a person, swear and say it. Tang Xiang was somewhat regretful, thinking that she should not have argued with Ling Xing. He had long known that the other party was a person with an eccentric temperament. Anyone who went against the other party would not have a good ending. Sorry for disturbing Master Lang today. I'll come again tomorrow. Tang Xiang tugged at the somewhat unwilling Tang Sun. She seemed to have forgotten to say goodbye to Tang Guo, and hurriedly left. Tang Guo stared at Tang Xiang's departing figure, and felt that her direction was not wrong. In her heart, Tang Xiang probably couldn't bear to see her do well, and was even afraid of her doing well. That was why, even though she had benefited so much and the original owner was so unlucky, she continued to cause trouble for the original owner. At the same time, she did not sever ties with the original owner, and even cared for the original owner. She was afraid that the original owner would one day make a comeback. Chapter 35-24. What's your relationship with that hypocrite? Ling Xing's pill refinement was very casual. It didn't look like he was refining pills, but more like he was cooking pig food. However, the fact that the pill furnace didn't explode meant that he had exquisite pill refinement skills. Pill refinement wasn't like other things. Sometimes, a slight mistake could cause the furnace to explode. In terms of blood, we're sisters, Tang Guo answered truthfully. She didn't think that this legendary pill refinement master with a strange personality was difficult to get along with. Ling Xing didn't raise his head. He narrowed his eyes and stared at the pill furnace. The small pill furnace was suspended in his palm. Under the pill furnace was a burning flame. This was the pill fire that belonged to cultivators. The stronger and purer the pill fire, the easier it was to refine pills. It was said that some alchemists would look for divine flames to fuse with themselves in order to improve their pill refinement skills. Of course, alchemists who could fuse with divine flames were all powerhouses. I see. Just when Tang Guo thought that Ling Xing was going to say something, he said, since we're sisters, she disturbed me just now. I wonder what kind of compensation Master Lang wants. Tang Guo asked. She didn't feel that she was being scammed at all. Ling Xing threw the ice snow lotus into the pill furnace. He was still as casual as ever. There were already many people watching from the side. Tang Xiang's shout attracted countless people. They all knew that this strange scammer who cheated them of their spirit stones was really Master Lang. Those who refused to let him refine their spirit herbs were regretting it. If they were more daring and willing to take a gamble, Master Lang would be helping them refine pills today. Even if they regretted it, no one dared to come over and make a fuss. Master Lang didn't show mercy to that delicate girl just now. Not many people could withstand Master Lang's poisonous tongue. You're straightforward. I like this kind of person. You're very tactful. Ling Xing stared at Tang Guo as if to see if she was sincere or not. Then, he looked away. You don't seem to be forcing yourself. You seem to be really willing to compensate me. I won't ask for much. Just 10 spirit stones. The spirit stones here were divided into low grade, middle grade, and high grade. Usually, the number of spirit stones referred to low grade spirit stones. For disciples of large sects, 10 spirit stones were nothing, but for rogue cultivators, 10 spirit stones were more precious. For some disciples who lacked resources, 10 pieces was a small fortune. Tanguo had exchanged a lot of spirit stones before, so she didn't care about a mere 10 spirit stones. He immediately took out 10 spirit stones from his interspatial bag and handed them to Lingxing. Lingxing didn't stand on ceremony either. He emptied a hand and accepted the spirit stones. Master Lang seems to be in a good mood today. Do you still remember the last time someone came looking for trouble? Master Lang asked for 100 high-grade spirit stones as compensation. Master Lang doesn't seem like Master Lang today. Actually, Lingxing also felt that he was lacking a little. Soon after, he felt that this female cultivator was quite pleasing to the eye. So what if he wanted less of her? However much he wanted, wasn't it up to him? After thinking it through, Lingxing no longer bothered about this. Where did you get the ice snow lotus? Tanguo did not hide anything. Sun traversing snow mountain. Lingxing paused for a moment before saying, so it's there. That's right, a snow ice lotus of such quality can only be found in that place. Is Master Lang very familiar with the sun-traversing snow mountain? I've been there. Chapter 35-25. Since Master Lang only makes 1 furnace a day, I'll come to you tomorrow. After the pills were refined, Tanguo paid Lingxing 30% of the reward and put the rest of the pills into her space bag. She remembered that there were still many precious spiritual herbs in the space bag. It would be a waste to eat them directly. Only by adding some herbs and refining them into pills could they be used to their fullest potential. Anyway, she had no idea how to condense her golden core, so she might as well repair the damage to her foundation first. Although the snow lotus pill has a certain effect on repairing your foundation, the effect is only a little. It's basically not very useful. If you want to repair your foundation, the easiest way in this world is to find a kind of spiritual medicine. The mixed yuan flame flower can be taken directly to repair all the damage to your foundation. However, the mixed yuan flame flower is rare and requires a certain amount of luck. It can only be found by chance. Lingxing had already put away his stall and was holding his old pill furnace in his hand. He continued, using the snow lotus pill to repair your foundation is not as good as forging your meridians. Your foundation is destroyed, but there are still signs of you condensing your golden core. You're also a talent. Tanguo. It had been a long time since someone praised her as a talent. This Master Lang had a good temper and was not as fierce as the rumors said. He was very easy to get along with. The onlookers were a little doubtful. Master, do you mean that I should use the medicinal effect of the snow lotus pill to forge my meridians? Lingxing turned and walked away, as if he did not want to pay attention to Tanguo. After taking 6 or 7 steps, his voice came back. Your memory doesn't seem to be very good and your comprehension ability is not good. I will only say my words once and not twice. The system comforted. Host, Master Lang has always been very unique. His attitude towards you is already very good. You don't have to feel defeated. Look at the people around you. They're looking at you with envy and surprise. If you have other spiritual herbs in your hands, then come here tomorrow to find me. If you find them, I can help you refine pills. Similarly, you can ask me what you said today again. As the saying goes, yesterday is yesterday. Every day is a new beginning. I really don't remember what Master Lang said before. My memory isn't very good and my comprehension ability is not good. I'll come again tomorrow. Lingxing, that female cultivator's brain really isn't that good. Tanguo did not leave the medicine market. Instead, she found a place to sit cross-legged. She was not afraid that someone would cause trouble. No one dared to cause trouble in this place because this was Master Lang's territory. The system hesitated for a moment before asking, "Host, is this that guy?" "Kind of." "What do you mean by a little?" "I'm just not sure. I've already found two that look like him. However, their soul aura is not strong enough, so we still need to observe them." The system tried to recall who the other person was. In this world, there were only a handful of people who could make the host speak to them in a pleasant manner. Another person worthy of suspicion was that big fool of a sect, Zhou Ru. I wonder how Zhou Ru is doing in the sect. Is he still getting beaten up every day? The other one is Zhou Ru. Yeah, there are many puzzles in this world. The system suddenly thought of a possibility. "Host, could it be that when that guy was on the road, he felt that you were going to suffer a lot and was so anxious that he started crying?" Tangua almost couldn't hold back her laughter. "Who cares if he's crying? As long as he's not an enemy, it's fine." At dawn, Tang Xiang and Tang Sun walked into the medicine market. Tang Xiang wanted to greet Tangua but was stopped by Tang Sun. "She doesn't see us as siblings at all. Why should we go?" Chapter 35-26. "Xiang, aren't you looking for Master Lang? Let's look for him first." "Alright, big brother. I want to go back to see father and mother as soon as possible. Since big sister is like this, there's nothing I can do." Tang Xiang said somewhat disappointedly. "After so many years, I'm also a little tired." Recently, Tang Xiang had indeed felt a little tired. There were many times when she couldn't help it. Everything she did before was very smooth, but ever since the last time she went to the torture hall, nothing went smoothly. This made her panic for no reason. She was not willing to recall some of the experiences in the depths of her mind. After so many years, it's about time, Tang Xiang thought silently. She had done so much step by step. The other party's foundation had already been destroyed. How could he have a chance to turn things around? No, she was still a little short. She had to get the Chaos Flame Flower. She had to get this thing. She would definitely not give the other party any chance to get it. "Xiang, Tang Sun was puzzled. Tang Xiang quickly came back to her senses. "Big brother, let's go find Master Lang. We need to refine the extreme cold Lingji into pills as soon as possible." "Alright." Tangua was also curious about what kind of role Ling Xing would play today. She wandered around the streets, looking for the spirit medicine she needed. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of her. She raised her head and met the other party's eyes. "You recognized me again?" Tangua, no, she didn't recognize the other party before speaking. Ling Xing was dressed in black with a long sword hanging at his waist. He was dressed like a swordsman. Thinking back to what he said earlier, he seemed to be revealing his identity to her. "System, the more I look, the more similar it seems." Just when Tangua and the system thought that Ling Xing took the initiative to reveal his identity to get close to her, they both noticed that it was Tang Xiang who had caught up. "Master Lang, I've found you. Can you help me refine pills today?" Tangua's body was very thin and small. Ling Xing was taller and just happened to block her entire body. Tang Xiang did not see her for a moment. Tangua looked at Ling Xing again and found that Ling Xing's eyes were cold, as if he was suspicious of how Tang Xiang found him in an instant. She also understood that since a person like Ling Xing suspected that there was something wrong with Tang Xiang, he was naturally unwilling to be led by the nose by the other party and be schemed against. "You're late." Ling Xing took a step away, exposing Tangua. When Tang Xiang saw Tangua, her face almost fell. She was in disbelief. How could this be? How could Tangguo find Ling Xing before her? Let's go. Since you found me, I'll help you refine a cauldron of pills today. Ling Xing walked past Tangguo and headed in another direction. Tangguo ignored her and followed her. Big brother, let's come again tomorrow. Tang Xiang did not dare to provoke Ling Xing at all after being unlucky yesterday. He was afraid that Ling Xing's poisonous tongue would say some infuriating words again. Master Lang, you seem to be the one begging me today. Stepping into the private room of the tea house, Tangguo spoke at the right time. She looked like a fool who didn't take advantage of the situation, which made Ling Xing's forehead twitch. What do you want? Today, I'll refine pills for free. No remuneration. Ling Xing was slightly surprised. That's it? No. Ling Xing chuckled. It was unknown whether he was mocking or joking. You really don't look very smart. If it was someone else, they would probably make many requests. Since he said it, he would definitely agree. System, host, he called you stupid. It's definitely not that guy. The other party's desire to live is very strong. Alright, then I'll agree. I won't take 30% of the remuneration today. On the third day, Ling Xing acted as an old man selling sesame seed cakes. When he felt Tangguo running in his direction, he ran quickly with the sesame seed cake stall and found Tangguo's position. He hurriedly asked her if she wanted to buy sesame seed cakes. Chapter 35-27. Master Lang, I helped you out again today. I didn't expect my sister to have such a strong taste. It's unbelievable that she likes an old man like this. Regardless of how ugly Ling Xing's expression was, he still asked, what do you want today? The same as yesterday. I agree. Don't talk. Do you know that it's very noisy? Thus, Tangguo didn't talk to Ling Xing for the whole day, which made Ling Xing feel uncomfortable. On the fourth day, Ling Xing played the role of a pale young cultivator. At a glance, it was obvious that he was in a very bad situation and seemed to be injured. What Ling Xing didn't understand was that no matter how he disguised himself, even if he completely covered up his aura, Tang Xiang could still quickly discover his existence. The reason why he was able to escape every time was that he relied on his powerful spiritual sense to capture Tang Xiang's position in advance. When he saw that something was wrong, he quickly went to find Tangguo. As for why he looked for Tangguo to help him out, perhaps he thought that she was more pleasing to the eye. Ling Xing quickly ran to Tangguo. She didn't seem to see him. Her expression didn't change, as if she didn't recognize him. Sensing that Tang Xiang was catching up from behind, Ling Xing was so angry that his hair was about to stand up. Master Lang, I found you. Tang Xiang's face was happy, but in fact, she wanted to curse in her heart. Could it be that her years of hard work still couldn't compare to the other party's luck? It had been so many years and she had used all her methods, but the other party's luck hadn't been completely wiped out. This made Tang Xiang panic. Only she knew how terrifying the other party's luck was. Tangguo didn't speak or look at Ling Xing. She pretended not to know Ling Xing and didn't seem to recognize the other party's disguise. But Ling Xing had a feeling that the other party should have seen who he was. Seeing that Tang Xiang was about to run over, Ling Xing did something that Tangguo didn't expect. Ling Xing's face turned pale and his whole body fell on him, as if he couldn't hold on anymore. System, hey, is this person a scammer? Help me out. You can refine as many pills as you want. There's something wrong with that female cultivator. Tangguo said in a low voice, Master Lang, didn't you only make one furnace every day? Doesn't this go against your principles? breaking the rules. Rules are dead, but people are alive. The rules are set by me. I can change them however I want. It was only yesterday that Master Lang told me not to speak. Lang Xing gritted his teeth. I was wrong yesterday. I apologize to you. I wouldn't dare. Master Lang, please help me refine pills. The exchange between the two of them happened in an instant. When Lang Xing fell, Tang Guo took the opportunity to support him. Sister, you've... Before Tang Guo could speak, Lang Xing stood up straight and looked at her with satisfaction. How did you recognize me? System, you can do that. She was probably a drama queen. Master Lang is different from the rest. He's very conspicuous in the crowd. Tang Guo's answer made Lang Xing a little embarrassed, but his skin was thicker, and his expression didn't change much. Alright, since you've recognized me, I'll help you concoct pills. Lang Xing didn't even look at Tang Xiang and walked towards the tea house. Let's go, it's the same place as yesterday. Tang Guo didn't have any intention of paying attention to Tang Xiang. It was a complete waste of her time to argue with Tang Xiang. She had already thought of how to deal with Tang Xiang. The first step was to ensure that her things wouldn't be snatched away. As for the second step, of course, it was to condense a golden core as soon as possible. Sister, what's your relationship with Master Lang? Don't degrade yourself just to refine pills. Young Master Li and sister still have an engagement. Tang Xiang hurriedly persuaded, young Master Li is a good person. He hasn't broken off the engagement yet. It can be seen that he's sincere to sister. Chapter 35-28. Tang Xiang's words were somewhat interesting. The original owner did have an engagement, and it was decided before she was born. Later, the original owner tested for a supreme grade ice spirit root, and the Li family felt that this marriage was good. Now that their foundation was destroyed, the Li family didn't directly break off the engagement. The bigger reason was that the Li family didn't want to lose family Tang as an ally. Unless they found a better ally than family Tang. They didn't mention breaking off the engagement all these years. Obviously, they didn't find one. When the original owner was young, she did play very well with Li Sui. Li Sui was also quite satisfied that he had such a fiancée. There shouldn't be any deep feelings between the two of them. With her current situation, Li Sui didn't care about it. He probably felt that she wasn't worthy of him, but he didn't want to give up the marriage relationship with family Tang. According to her memory, Li Sui was Tang Xiang's follower. After some things happened, he still broke off the engagement with the original owner. Female cultivator, your words are really unpleasant. Just now, I pretended to be an injured cultivator. My injuries flared up, and she helped me up. You think that we have an improper relationship? What do you mean by degrading herself for alchemy? Do you mean that I'm a lecher? Lang Xing was unhappy. He turned around and stared at Tang Xiang. He didn't care if she was a delicate little girl or not. I'm thinking, is your mind full of these messy things? Have you ever heard of a saying? What kind of person, what kind of world they imagine? It can be seen that not only are you not what you look like, but you're also sinister inside. You can't let others live well. Sure enough, you're not what you look like. Not only do you dress like a pheasant, but you also like to talk about right and wrong. Aren't you afraid that the heavenly tribulation will cut your tongue off? On the surface, you pretend to be very concerned about her, but in fact, your mouth is full of derogatory words. I've lived for so many years, but I've never seen you show such concern. Disgusting, I lose my appetite. Tang Xiang's face turned white and green, green and white. When facing Su Zong, she could still control her emotions. But facing this weird-tempered person, whose words were particularly poisonous. Every word seemed to peel off the skin on her body. She felt like she was going to explode. Master Lang, aren't you going too far by saying that? The veins on Tang Sun's temples were constantly pulsating. If it wasn't for the fact that he knew that he was no match for Lang Xing and couldn't meet force with force, he would have already made his move. Xiang is just concerned about her. Lang Xing's eyes were filled with mockery. Concerned? He shifted his gaze to Tang Xiang. You're concerned about her? Without waiting for Tang Xiang to reply, he said, you want to find this Dao to refine pills? Yes, Master Lang. All right, you said you were concerned about someone. Swear on your inner demons today that you are really concerned about her, and not a hypocrite like I said. If they were not what they appeared to be, they would be tortured to death by their inner demons and would never be able to ascend for the rest of their lives. As long as you dare to swear, no matter what pill you want to concoct in the future, no matter how many pills you want to concoct, I will not refuse. There were already many people watching. Many people heard Lang Xing's words and immediately looked at Tang Xiang with envy. If she really cared about that female cultivator, then it would be a sure win for her. How is it? Tang Xiang did not expect that Lang Xing would be able to accurately slap her face every time. Chapter 35-29. It seems that you don't dare to swear on your inner demons. As soon as Lang Xing said this, all eyes were on Tang Xiang, which made her feel a little hot. For a moment, she was also a little flustered. What was going on? Why was the other party's luck getting better and better these days? Her foundation was destroyed. For more than 10 years, everything she did had been successful. Her luck should have been wiped out. She thought of the other party in her memory. That luck was like a ray of light that illuminated the entire earth. Her face turned pale. Could it be that after working hard for so many years, she still couldn't suppress the other party's luck? The other party's luck should have been almost devoured. Why was it still rising slowly? This female cultivator doesn't seem to dare to swear. Could it be that she's really two-faced? Have you forgotten where we are? This is the cultivation world where the strong preys on the weak. How can true concern be so easy to get? Even if they're Dao companions, after being intimate just now, they'll still fight each other. That makes sense, that makes sense. Fortunately, Master Lang is here. Otherwise, that black-clothed female cultivator would really be unable to explain herself. System, host, isn't Master Lang very awesome? Well, you don't say. I forgot that oaths in the cultivation world are very useful. The more vicious the oath, the faster it will come true. Hearing this sentence, the system vaguely felt that a storm was coming. If you didn't swear, others wouldn't be able to get such an opportunity even if they begged for it. It's rare for Master Lang to speak. Tang Guo reminded in real time, Master Lang isn't making things difficult for you. You said that you were very concerned about me. You only need to swear that you're truly concerned about me. If you violate the oath, you'll immediately be punished by your inner demons. It's not difficult to say a few words. I thought about it. You've been concerned about me all these years, but you also know that I've suffered a huge physical and mental trauma, leaving behind a huge psychological shadow. So, no one really believes it. Tang Guo's expression was very gentle, which was rare. After hearing Master Lang's words just now, I thought of how we'll get along in the future. We are indeed related by blood. You've been so persistent for so many years. If I don't say something, there will always be people who think that I'm vicious and don't care about you, my biological sister. The surrounding people were already watching the show. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Tang Guo and Tang Xiang were not on good terms. They were looking forward to what she was going to say next. She continued, "How about this? In the future, when you give me something, I won't reject it. As long as you swear on your inner demons that you're giving it to me with sincerity and not with sincerity, you'll immediately be punished by your inner demons. Everything that happened in the past has affected me greatly. In the future, if you care about me and want me to believe you, you have to swear on your inner demons. If it's not true, you will still be punished by your inner demons. If that's the case, I'll definitely believe you and never doubt you again. Of course, you can choose to refuse." When everyone heard this, all sorts of strange expressions appeared on their faces. Then, they all stared at Tang Xiang. This matter was neither difficult nor easy. Just as she had said, as long as one was sincere, an oath made by a heart demon would have no effect at all. So, would this white-clothed female cultivator agree? "Sister, don't you trust me that much?" Tang Xiang tried to save her dignity, but Tang Guo did not take the bait at all. "Yes, my body and mind have been greatly hurt. I don't trust anyone, including you." Tang Xiang. Chapter 35-30. Don't talk so much nonsense. Whether you swear or not, it's all up to you. If you don't want to, I'll leave first. Leave, it's a waste of my time. Tang Guo, you're going too far. Xiang is concerned about you, but you don't think about her at all. Tang Sun didn't dare to argue with Lang Xing, so he could only choose to argue with Tang Guo. Tang Guo turned around and said coldly, "My heart is weak right now. Everyone, female cultivators nowadays are all two-faced. She clearly looks like a cold person, but why does it feel like there's something wrong with her words?" As expected, female cultivators are the best at lying in the world. If the system had a face, it would want to cover it up. It always knew that the host was shameless, but it really didn't know that she was this shameless. "Sister, I don't want our relationship to be like this." "Then do you swear?" Tang Guo looked straight at Tang Xiang. "If you swear, you can improve our relationship. At least I'll trust you a little more. Although it's a little, it can be accumulated." System, accumulated can be used like this. Amazing. The onlookers couldn't help but laugh. But when they saw Tang Sun's angry look, they all shook their heads, not intending to expose him. Why would they care about other people's matters? It was fine to just watch a joke. These two people's identities should be extraordinary. They didn't want to cause trouble. "Let's go. This is really a waste of my time here." Lang Xing's face was ugly. Tang Xiang called him a lecher today, making him especially unhappy. He turned around and glanced at Tang Xiang, saying coldly, "I won't help you refine pills in the future. Don't come out. No one dares to say that I'm a lecher. Also, change the rules from now on. Add one more. If I don't like people, I won't help them refine pills." Rules were meant to be changed, not to mention that he set them himself. Although everyone was a little bitter, they didn't dare to say anything. At least the other party didn't say that he wouldn't refine pills in the future. No matter what spirit medicine fell into Lang Xing's hands, they were all high grade, and the quantity was not small. Until now, they hadn't heard of him wasting a cauldron. Looking for a cold star meant that there was no need to waste precious spirit herbs, especially some precious spirit herbs. "Xiang, let's go. There's no need to say anything to such an unreasonable person. There are plenty of alchemists in the world of cultivation. Lang Xing won't make a difference. What do you want to refine? Take it out. I'll refine it for you." This Taoist is a man of his word. If you want to refine any pills in the future, this Taoist will refine them for you as long as you can take out the spiritual herbs. I won't ask for any compensation. When he said this, Ling Xing felt a little heartache. He was too impulsive. His brain had been muddled by that two-faced female cultivator, which was why he had made such a stupid promise at that time. It was a huge loss. Tang Guo could see the annoyance in Ling Xing's expression. She pretended not to see it and took out all the spirit herbs. You're lucky. He's not smart, but he's lucky. Fortune favors fools. You're really lucky to have met me. If not for that female cultivator, this Dao would not have been so impulsive. Ling Xing muttered to himself until all the pills were refined. After the required pills were refined, Tang Guo left. Before leaving, Ling Xing gave her a jade pendant with a sour face, saying that if she needed to refine pills, she could contact him at any time. Such a useful alchemist, of course, Tang Guo wouldn't miss it. Apex. Chapter 35-31. She didn't return to the Almighty Beginning sect directly. Instead, she chose to go to the cultivation cave abode outside and prepared to use the snow lotus elixir. Ling Xing suggested that she use the snow lotus elixir on her meridians. She thought it was feasible. Her foundation had been destroyed. Using the chaos flame flower to restore it was the easiest way. It wouldn't be easy to restore it. The original owner had already found a shortcut. Her lifelong wish was to stand up again. Of course, she would fulfill this wish using the original owner's method. After about half a month, Tang Guo came out of the cave abode. Although she hadn't condensed a golden core, she had a new understanding and was much clearer about the path she had to take in the future. Now, not only was her dantian full of spirit power, but so were all the meridians in her body. It was as if there were countless rivers in her body, and those rivers were spirit power. The meridians of a supreme-grade spirit root were naturally very superior. Tang Guo planned to return to the sect to take a look. As for family Tang, she didn't plan to go back. Getting entangled with those people was just a waste of time. She was returning to the sect because of the recent beast tide outbreak. The sect seemed to be organizing disciples to go out and train. If she could follow the main group, she naturally wouldn't choose to act alone. Moreover, Tang Xiang would definitely go. If she didn't go, how could Tang Xiang slowly reveal her true colors? If she followed the main group of the sect and hunted demon beasts, she would also receive a certain reward. In terms of rewards, the sect was still fair and wouldn't deliberately be harsh. The city that was besieged by the beast tide would also give a certain reward. Although the arrival of the beast tide was very dangerous, it also brought about opportunities for many people. When Tang Guo stepped into the mountain gate, she found that the mountain gate was very quiet. Previously, she thought that even if no one dared to touch her, the sect wouldn't find a reason to punish them if they ridiculed her. However, the disciples standing on both sides of the mountain gate only took a look at her identity card and let her in without a single word of ridicule. Such a strange scene attracted her attention. Along the way to the cultivation residence, she didn't encounter anyone who ridiculed or made things difficult for her. This made Tang Guo feel even more strange. Could it be that something had happened in the sect and those disciples had all gathered? However, when she checked her identity card just now, the sect didn't release any news. She was just a small character, and the elders were all very busy. It was impossible for them to target her and deliberately miss out on the news. Junior sister Tang. Tang Guo had just walked to the door of her residence when she heard someone calling her. He turned around and saw Zhou Ru walking over from not far away. He still looked silly. I heard that you're back, so I came over to take a look. You're really back. So it's senior martial brother Zhou. Zhou Ru smiled foolishly. Have you eaten? Do you want to go to the cafeteria to eat? Is there anything in particular you want to eat? I happen to be free, so I can help you. Aren't you in charge of the fire? Tang Guo remembered that Zhou Ru had said that the other party was in charge of the cafeteria. Zhou Ru scratched his head and looked silly. He smiled very happily. Sometimes, I can cook. Recently, they don't want me to light the fire and cook. Tang Guo wondered, why don't you do those things anymore? They said that my talent is not bad and that I should spend more time cultivating. Tang Guo didn't refuse. She was indeed a little hungry, so she followed Zhou Ru to the cafeteria and ate to her heart's content. After eating, Tang Guo decided to ask Zhou Ru about something. Senior brother Zhou, why is the sect so quiet today? Didn't you see many familiar faces? Well, they should all be at the cliff of reflection. Zhou Ru smiled foolishly. This is all thanks to the things that junior sister Tang gave me. I recorded all those who beat people and gave the image stone to Elder Su. Elder Su was very happy and encouraged me to do more of these things. Tang Guo understood. It turned out that those disciples who bullied people were all sent to the torture hall by this big fool. Junior sister Tang, I've used up most of the things you gave me. You won't be angry, right? Tang Guo shook her head. I'm not angry. It's useless to leave those things with me. It's just right to use them. By the way, I still have a lot of them. I'll give them to you later. Did anyone find trouble with you for these things? Some did, but they're all at the cliff of reflection now. They'll be there for at least 5 years. Chapter 35-32. Tang Guo also gave Zhou Ru a lot of image stones. After shuttling through various small worlds for so many years, there were countless of them in the system space. Under normal circumstances, she didn't need these things. Being able to use them, as she said, was a good thing. After staying in the sect for a few days, Tang Guo found that the disciples who bullied the weak and liked to cause trouble were all sent to the cliff of reflection as punishment. Back then, the ones who hit her when she was down were basically this group of disciples who didn't have much cultivation and especially wanted to humiliate her under their feet. As for those core disciples with higher cultivation levels and good talent, they generally wouldn't lower themselves to attack her. Especially when there was Tang Xiang who protected Tang Guo on the surface. Who would be willing to let this kind of weakness fall into the hands of others? Junior Martial Sister Tang, I brought you some food mainly because I didn't see you eating in the cafeteria. For several days, Zhou Ru would deliver food to Tang Guo on time. The taste was good, and one could tell at a glance that it was carefully prepared. I've troubled senior martial brother Zhou again. Zhou Ru quickly shook his head and smiled honestly. It's no trouble, this is what I should do. The image stones that junior martial sister Tang gave me can be sold for a lot of spirit stones. I'm just giving junior martial sister Tang 2 meals, I'm taking advantage of you. Since senior martial brother Zhou said so, I won't be polite. Tang Guo remembered that the sect was about to organize the disciples to stop the beast tide, and asked, about this beast tide, does senior martial brother Zhou plan to participate? Does junior martial sister Tang want to go? Tang Guo nodded. Of course I want to go. There aren't many opportunities like this, and I can get double the reward. Moreover, the demonic beasts that we hunt will belong to us, and there will be an elder leading the team, so it's safer. Then I'll go too. Zhou Ru quickly said, but junior martial sister Tang hasn't reached the golden core stage, so I'm afraid it will be very dangerous. However, I'm quite resistant to beatings, and my injuries heal very quickly. When the time comes, junior martial sister Tang will be with me. If there's any danger, you can hide behind me and it won't be that dangerous. Senior martial brother Zhou, are you using yourself as a shield? Zhou Ru didn't feel embarrassed at all. Instead, he said, "After all, I'm quite tough, so it's my duty to protect Junior Marshal Sister Tang. If it weren't for your help, I would have been beaten every day. Previously, other than when I was tending to the fire, the rest of the time, the people in the sect liked to beat me up. System, host, it's a miracle that this big idiot is still alive." Judging from the strength of those people, most of them are in the foundation establishment stage. Only a few of them are in the golden core stage. Why didn't Senior Marshal Brother Zhou fight back? Are we just going to let them beat us up? I can't beat them. They outnumber me, Zhou Ru said honestly. My skin is thick and heals quickly. Even if I get beaten up, it won't affect my cultivation. If you resist, you will still be beaten. If you don't resist, you will still be beaten. When Zhou Ru saw the strange look in Tanggua's eyes, he lowered his voice and said, "Junior Sister Tang, let me tell you a secret. Actually, there's another reason why I didn't resist." "What is the reason?" "I feel that after being beaten up, the meridians in my body become unobstructed. If I were to cultivate again, my cultivation speed would be 10 times faster. Every time I get beaten up, I will have a small breakthrough." Zhou Ru scratched his head. Seeing that Tanggua didn't show a mocking expression, he continued, "It's just that in these 2 years, the improvement from the beatings isn't that big. I guess it's because their strength is too low." So, Senior Marshal Brother Zhou didn't hesitate to send them to the Cliff of Reflection. Chapter 35-33. I've made a fool of myself in front of you, Junior Sister Tang. After all, the sect has a rule that we can't hurt fellow disciples. They've beaten me up for so many years, so they should go to the Cliff of Reflection to reflect on themselves. Zhou Ru still had a silly look on his face as he spoke. With his honest appearance and silly tone, no one would think that he was a person who was full of schemes. Moreover, Zhou Ru's eyes were clear and could see through him at a glance. He gave people the feeling that he was just thinking about these things and didn't plan it carefully. System, so this is what it means to be two-faced without knowing it. When Tang Guo returned to the sect this time, Tang Xiang didn't come to find her like before. Tang Xiang probably wanted to kill her when she saw her now. Tang Guo and Zhou Ru signed up to fight against the beast tide that broke out in Long Cave City. Long Cave City wasn't too far from the Taichu sect. Of course, this was only for cultivators. The sect seniors leading the team had Dharma treasures that could be used to travel. It only took half a day to reach Long Cave City on the sect's top-grade Dharma treasure. It was worth mentioning that Long Cave City was also close to the sun-traversing Snow Mountain. It was obvious that the sun-traversing Snow Mountain was bigger than imagined. Other than the elders of the Taichu sect, Yu Heng was also leading the team this time. Tang Guo was a little surprised that Yu Heng was leading the team, but she also felt that it was within her expectations. After all, she had changed a lot of details up until now. It was impossible for the plot and details to be the same as in her memory. Moreover, the memories she obtained were vague. There were many things that were missing. Tang Xiang would definitely go with Yu Heng leading the team. This was what she meant when she said that it wasn't surprising. On the day of departure, Zhou Ru arrived early to wait for Tang Guo outside her residence. The two of them went to the sect square together. There were already many disciples waiting there. Tang Guo's appearance attracted some attention. These people didn't mock and ridicule her, but they weren't as friendly as before. They either looked away after a glance or kept staring at her with some disdain in their eyes. There were also some people who looked a little regretful. No matter how bad her reputation was, it was an indisputable fact that she was once a genius. It was indeed a pity that she suddenly became a good-for-nothing. After waiting for about 15 minutes, Yu Heng appeared with Tang Xiang and Ji Qi. When Tang Xiang appeared, her gaze fell on Tang Guo. Perhaps it was because Tang Xiang was too focused that she attracted Yu Heng and Ji Qi's attention. Both of their gazes paused on Tang Guo for a moment, but Ji Qi only shifted his gaze away. Perhaps it was because of what happened last time that left a deep impression on Ji Qi, so he didn't show any signs of disgust towards her. Yu Heng's eyes were colder. At this moment, he waved his hand and a huge flying ship appeared on the square. This spaceship could accommodate tens of thousands of people. However, this time, the number of disciples who were going to support Long Cave City was not as many. From the number of people in the square, there were about 3,000 people. This number was already quite a lot. Disciples who are participating in this battle, listen up. Demonic beasts that have lost their minds will not only lose their minds, but their strength will also increase tremendously. According to past experiences, their strength will increase by at least 2 times, and even 5 times. It was Yu Heng who was speaking. His gaze paused on Tang Guo's face again. She didn't know if it was intentional or not. Chapter 35-34. As for the disciples below the golden core stage, I'll give you some time to consider. Although the rewards are generous, you have to assess your own abilities. If you lose your life in the beast tide, then you're overestimating your abilities. Instantly, Tang Guo understood that Yu Heng's words were meant for her. This time, Tang Xiang didn't try to persuade Tang Guo. Perhaps it was because she had suffered a loss before, so she still hadn't recovered from the shock. She only glanced at Tang Guo and then lowered her head, giving others the feeling that she did not know how to persuade Tang Guo. Tang Guo found it very funny. What's with that look on his face? Anyway, she had learned something from that masterling. The oaths in this world were especially effective. No one dared to make an oath casually. This was the terror of oaths that many people had overlooked. The original owner did not think of this method. This was fate. Fate was unpredictable. Perhaps there were some reasons that caused the people here to subconsciously not think about this. But in the future, if Tang Xiang came to drink green tea in front of her, she would just make her swear. Another 15 minutes passed. There were a few Foundation establishment disciples who chose to give up on the mission to resist the beast tide. Is there anyone who wants to give up? Yu Heng asked. There's no need to regret. Your choice is to act according to your abilities. If you don't have such strong abilities, you will not be persisting in your Tao heart. That's called stupidity. Beast tides happen frequently. You will have many opportunities. When you cultivate to the golden core stage, you will have more confidence in participating in this mission. Cultivation was a gradual process. Don't be impatient or anxious. Since there's no more, let's set off. Yu Heng's gaze swept across Tang Guo's body. He casually jumped onto the flying ship. Tang Guo pretended that she did not see anything and boarded the ship with Zhou Ru. This flying ship did not have any rooms. There were only praying mats placed next to each other. It was obviously a very powerful Dharma treasure, but the layout was very simple. Of course, the position of the praying mats was also particular. Disciples with low cultivation were destined to not have good seats. Tang Guo and Zhou Ru were sitting at the edge of the room. Junior sister Tang, are you hungry? Zhou Ru took out some food and handed it to Tang Guo. I've prepared a lot of food. If you're hungry, you can ask me. In addition, there are some fruits that you should like. Thank you, senior brother Zhou. Why are you being so polite? I've already said that you don't have to be so polite. I should be the one thanking you. Junior sister Tang, why is that person staring at you? Zhou Ru's gaze shifted towards Tang Xiang. Junior sister Tang, does she bully you often? Tang Guo looked up and asked, everyone in the sect thinks that I bullied her. Why does senior martial brother Zhou think that she bullied me? How could junior martial sister Tang bully her? Zhou Ru's face was full of doubt. Isn't she fine? I know who she is. She is Peak Master Yu's most beloved disciple, Tang Xiang. The two of you are even biological sisters. She's at the gold core stage, while junior martial sister Tang is at the foundation establishment stage. I also heard that junior martial sister Tang was often bullied by others in the past. How could she have the time to bully her? What if I really bullied her? Then it's most likely that she angered junior martial sister Tang. Zhou Ru said to himself. He did not feel that there was anything wrong with his words. Junior martial sister Tang is a reasonable person who is willing to help others. She would not bully anyone. System, young man, what nonsense are you talking about? Chapter 35-35. Senior Martial Brother Zhou, has anyone ever told you that you have a good eye? Zhou Ru shook his head. They all call me a big idiot. The only one who said I have a good eye is junior martial sister Tang. That's because they don't have a good eye. System, you're fooling people with a straight face again. However, Zhou Ru thought about it seriously and said, what junior martial sister Tang says makes sense. Those who say that junior martial sister Tang have a bad eye. Junior martial sister Tang is such a good person, how could she be a vicious person? Zhou Ru's voice wasn't soft. Moreover, they were all cultivators, so his words were heard by others. Someone immediately laughed and said, it's that big idiot. Everyone avoids her, but this idiot still dares to get close to her. When he encounters danger, he won't even know if he's betrayed by her. Although these people didn't think Tang Xiang was that good, they also didn't think that Tang Guo wasn't a bad person. After all, Tang Guo had a fierce reputation all these years, whether it was before her foundation was destroyed or after it was destroyed. Although she didn't kill her own sect's disciples, who knew if she really didn't when she was training outside? It was normal for a cultivator to kill in order to snatch resources. I'm not lying. Junior martial sister Tang is a good person. If you don't think so, then there must be something wrong with your eyes. Zhou Ru stood up and argued with others. His silly appearance was really cute. Ha, this idiot. When he's betrayed, he'll probably help others count the spirit stones. Idiot, what kind of bewitching soup did she feed you to make you so mesmerized? It's probably because of her good looks that this idiot is so mesmerized. This idiot is at least in the golden core stage. Although he just advanced, he's still useful to that trash. It's most likely because of her beauty that the idiot obediently took the bait. Zhou Ru was silly, but it didn't mean that there was something wrong with his IQ. He understood what they were saying and his face immediately turned red with anger. He wanted to beat them up. Tang Guo pulled Zhou Ru back. Zhou Ru's expression was stubborn as he said in a fit of anger, they're going too far with their words. They deserve a beating. If you take the initiative to attack, they will have a reason to lock you up in the cliff of reflection and not let you fight against the beast tide. Zhou Ru sat down unwillingly. He didn't care about fighting against the beast tide, but if he was chased to the cliff of reflection, he wouldn't be able to go with Junior Tang and protect her. She was so weak and these people were so evil. It was really worrying. She was weak and petite, and her skin was tender. It was obvious that she would not be able to take a beating. If you want to beat them up, why don't you wait until no one is watching and beat them up secretly? That way, no one will leave any evidence. They don't have evidence, so the law-enforcing patriarch can't punish you. Tangua secretly sent a sound transmission to Zhou Ru, but remember, clean it up. Don't leave any evidence behind. Zhou Ru's eyes lit up and he praised Tangguo for her intelligence. System, you're teaching bad things to little kids. However, Zhou Ru was still a little unwilling to let these people humiliate Tangguo just now. She immediately said, you have to pay attention to evidence before you speak. You're speaking nonsense and disrespecting junior martial sister Tang. If you speak nonsense, your tongue will rot in the future. Tangguo's eyes narrowed slightly. She couldn't tell that this idiot would say something like this. She thought of her new method and cooperated with Zhou Ru, senior martial brothers. Did you really see those humiliating words? Do you have evidence? Chapter 35-36. Isn't that the case? Those people were also somewhat unconvinced. Tell me, didn't you use some dirty tricks to make this fool listen to you? Who would believe you if you say it out loud? Seeing that the other party was so cooperative, they directly took the bait. Tangguo was very happy in her heart, but she did not show it on her face. Instead, she said, Senior brothers, since you're so sure, then let's make an oath. If I use shady means to trick senior martial brother Zhou, then my cultivation will never improve. If I didn't use these shady means, then all of you will have rotten tongues. The few people who had spoken were all stunned. Why are you making an oath out of nowhere? Didn't you say that I used dirty tricks? After thinking about it, there's no way to prove my innocence, so why don't we make an oath? We'll make an oath on our inner demons. Making an oath on our inner demons is the most effective. It's said that the inner demons can be effective for as short as an instant, and as long as 3 days. She was really thankful that the rules of this world were so convenient. When telling a lie, one would know the truth after making an oath. However, ordinary people were not willing to touch this line at all. Tangguo guessed that there must be something that deliberately made people ignore this line. Senior brothers, are you willing to make an oath? Although these people did not think that Tangguo was innocent, they were also afraid that she was really innocent. For a moment, they did not speak anymore. Instead, they shifted their gazes to the side and looked around. Senior brothers and sisters, the next time you talk about me, why don't you make an oath first? I've already thought of the content of the oath. Just say, what kind of person do you think Tangguo is? I swear on my inner demons that if I lie, my tongue will rot tomorrow. Senior brothers and sisters, if you say so, I won't stop you. Tangguo's voice reached everyone's ears. When Tang Xiang heard it, her expression turned ugly. However, she lowered her head slightly and closed her eyes, so no one noticed. Yu Hing also heard it. He could not help but glance at Tangguo. The elder sitting next to him laughed and said, in any case, she used to be a genius, so she's still smart. Once she said this, not many disciples would really dare to make an oath. All cultivators know the terror of oaths. Speaking of which, it's a pity. He's such a good seedling. If nothing happens, he will definitely become the #1 person in the cultivation world in less than 30 years. As the elder spoke, his face was filled with emotion. Back then, they had indeed thought of many ways. Even if this disciple's temperament was not good, he did not do anything excessive. At most, he was a little arrogant, which was still tolerable. However, there was still no way to help her recover. Now that things had come to a conclusion, they could only give up. People in the world of cultivation were improving every day. They couldn't possibly waste too many resources on a piece of trash. Later on, when he heard many unbearable rumors, he felt that it was a pity. Now that he saw the other party, his thoughts changed. It seemed that many things were different from the rumors. Peak Master Yu, over the years, this disciple's temperament seems to have been tempered quite a bit. There are countless miracles in the world of cultivation. If she has another opportunity, maybe. Is it really that easy to obtain a fortuitous opportunity? Yu Heng's tone was indifferent. He merely used some opportunistic methods, which made Elder Feng see him in a new light. This disciple's temperament is not good. Her foundation has been destroyed and she will seek revenge for the smallest grievance. What fortuitous opportunity is there? Feng Gulin shook his head lightly. Peak Master Yu, do you have any prejudice against this disciple? I think it's quite good. Look at him, he is neither arrogant nor rash. When he was being verbally humiliated, he was still so indifferent. He thought of a method that no one dared to offend. Is that not good? If his temperament is really bad, he should be angry out of humiliation now. Elder Feng, you can't judge a book by its cover. Chapter 35-37. Yu Heng's cold words made Feng Gulin shake his head continuously. He was curious as to how this disciple had offended Yu Heng to make him dislike her so much. When this disciple first entered the sect, the elders all felt that Yu Heng did not seem to care much about this extremely talented disciple. Fortunately, this disciple was talented and had good comprehension skills. As long as she was given enough resources, it would be easy for her to grow. Besides, the sect also had its own lessons. If a disciple wanted to learn something, as long as she did not miss the lessons given by the elders and the master did not teach her in private, it would not affect her too much. Previously, they thought that Yu Heng wanted to train this talented disciple's temperament. Later on, Tanggua had indeed grown very well. Other than his temperament, he would always get a good ranking in every competition he participated in. Now, it seemed that Yu Heng had turned a blind eye to this talented disciple. Feng Gulin sighed and felt that it was a pity. Such a good disciple had been wasted by Yu Heng. Peak Master Yu Heng, you said that you should not judge a book by its cover. I think you should think more about it. I think that this disciple's temperament is not bad. It's just a pity. Feng Gulin thought of the current situation and shook his head. Forget it. It seems that there is no point in talking about this now. After all, the chances of her recovering are almost zero. The easiest way is to obtain a mixed flame flower. It's so difficult. Seeing that Feng Gulin was sighing, Yu Heng did not say anything. He hadn't told anyone about the chaos flame flower in his possession. He had kept it in his spatial ring all this time. If Tanggua had a better temperament, she would have treated Xiang better. Xiang would not have given it to Yu Heng just because her cultivation was stagnant. It was not a big deal. However, all these years, Xiang's frequent awakening from her meditative state had something to do with Tanggua. There was also the matter of him becoming a demon. Hence, he could not give the primordial flame flower to him. What if Yu Heng's foundation was restored and she started cultivating again and became a talented person? If Yu Heng really became a demon in the future, wouldn't he be helping a demon? Wouldn't he be harming Xiang and causing trouble for the entire cultivation world? After what Tanggua had said, no one dared to say anything bad about her. Still, from the bottom of their hearts, they didn't believe that Tanggua was a good person. They didn't use any tricks to fool Zhou Ru. However, they were also afraid that if everything she said was true and she swore, wouldn't they be at a disadvantage? The rest of the journey was relatively peaceful. During this period, some people couldn't help but mock Tanggua, but they were all persuaded to leave by her inner demon oath. These people didn't look at Tanggua kindly, but they really didn't look for trouble with her. Tang Xiang also didn't look for Tanggua. She was also afraid. She was afraid that Tang Guo would ask if what she said was true. If you swear, I'll believe you. It was fine if it happened once or twice, but if it happened a few more times, the onlookers would have doubts in their hearts when they saw that she didn't dare to swear. They would suspect that she was sincere. She might as well pretend to be very disappointed and not pay attention to the other party anymore. Tang Guo understood Tang Xiang's thoughts. If Tang Xiang didn't come to bother her, she would be much quieter. Even if they took such a powerful flying artifact, it would take half a day to reach Long Cave City. After no one came to disturb them, Tang Guo started to think about condensing her Jin Dan. Zhou Ru naturally played the role of a guardian. Chapter 35-38. Half a day later, Feng Gulin and Yu Heng arrived at Long Cave City with the disciples of the Absolute Beginning sect. The city lord of Long Cave City was already waiting for them outside the city gates. This time, it wasn't just the Absolute Beginning sect that had come to reinforce Long Cave City. There were also people from other sections. Amongst them, the Absolute Beginning sect was one of the most powerful sections. When he saw the Absolute Beginning sect arrive, the city lord's frowning face immediately broke into a smile. "Peak Lord Yu, Elder Feng, please come in. The residence has already prepared wine." Yu Feng shook his head. "There's no need for wine. Let's first deal with the matter of resisting the beast tide. It won't be too late for the city lord to spend time thinking about it after this is over. Peak Lord Yu is right. Let's resist the beast tide first. Everything else isn't important for now." Feng Gulin followed. How could he be in the mood to drink in this situation? He actually understood the city lord's intentions. He was most likely afraid of neglecting these people who came to help. Seeing the other party's anxious expression, he understood. As expected, the city lord's smile widened when he heard this. "All right, since both of you are straightforward people, then I won't stand on ceremony. The beast tide this time is indeed fierce. From what we've discovered so far, most of the demonic beasts that have lost their will this time should be late-stage Qi refinement and early-stage foundation establishment. You should also know that after demonic beasts lose their will, their strength will increase greatly. So this time, the demonic beast army's strength is mainly at the foundation establishment stage and above. Among them, there are also some at the golden core stage, but there aren't many. As for nascent soul stage, we haven't discovered them yet. Their strength is not to be feared, but there are many of them. Fortunately, we have everyone's help. Otherwise, the cultivators of our Long Cave City would have been exhausted to death by these demonic beasts. Without the lips, the teeth will feel cold. City Lord need not worry, everyone will come to help now. If Long Cave City falls, it won't be good for anyone." Feng Gulin said, "Then let's make the arrangements. Arrange for the disciples to go kill the demonic beasts earlier and replace the cultivators from before to rest and reorganize to reduce casualties. Disciples, listen up. Next, we need 2 people to form teams. If you're willing to form a team, 2 people will form a small team. Once you've formed a team, we'll split into teams. When the time comes, the 2 of you will need to take care of each other and have absolute trust in each other. You can leave your backs to each other to ensure your safety." Yu Heng said to all the disciples. "All right, let's begin." Since it was voluntary to form a team, the disciples were naturally willing to form a team with someone stronger, or even someone of equal strength. For example, Tang Guo, who was in the foundation establishment stage and the golden core stage, would definitely not be considered. However, foundation establishment disciples wouldn't have any complaints. Everyone would choose what was best for them. When the time came, the foundation establishment disciples would definitely not dare to go too deep. In any case, the elders of the sect had already made arrangements. When the time came, with the elders watching from the side, as long as they didn't disobey orders, there wouldn't be too much danger. When the time came, the elders would not act. Instead, they would stay in the air to protect the disciples they were leading. When they saw that the situation was not right, they would act at the right time to help those disciples who were in danger. Therefore, the Foundation establishment disciples were very tactful and formed a team with someone of equal strength. At this time, a golden core stage female cultivator came in front of Tanghua and Zhou. No, to be exact, she came for Zhou. Zhou's reputation was still known by some people. He was famous mainly because he was more resistant to beatings. Chapter 35-39. Senior Brother Zhou, you're at the early gold core stage, and I'm also at the early gold core stage, and I'm about to break through to the middle gold core stage. Why don't we team up? The female cultivator looked at Zhou with her watery eyes, and intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Tanghua, and continued, Senior Brother Zhou, in this kind of thing, a gold core cultivator and a gold core cultivator can make the best use of the cultivator. The implication was that Tanghua's existence would drag Zhou down. The reason why she came to find Zhou was that the other gold core cultivators had already formed a team, and she was the only one left. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken a fancy to Zhou, who had just broken through to the gold core stage and still looked silly. As long as there was a choice, she wouldn't choose to cooperate with Zhou. I've already formed a team with junior sister Tang, you can find someone else. Zhou didn't seem to see the female cultivator's charming eyes, nor did he feel that the female cultivator's voice was so pleasant. He just thought that since he came with junior sister Tang, he would definitely form a team with junior sister Tang. How could he form a team with someone else? Senior Brother Zhou, you have to think carefully. She's only at the Foundation establishment stage, and I'm at the gold core stage. If we form a team, we'll definitely kill more demonic beasts, and the rewards will be more abundant. Relatively speaking, the danger will also be reduced a lot. The female cultivator was somewhat unwilling, and she's only at the Foundation establishment stage. I'm afraid she'll drag us down and implicate Senior Brother Zhou. We're here to kill demonic beasts, not to enjoy the light in the mountains. This is not a child's play. Seeing that the other slightly stronger Foundation establishment stage cultivators had almost formed a team, if she retreated at this time, she could only form a team with the weakest Foundation establishment stage cultivator. Thinking of this, the female cultivator looked at Tanghua with a very unfriendly gaze. Tanghua ignored her, and Zhou also ignored her, constantly fiddling with a pair of boxing gloves in his hand. This pair of boxing gloves looked ordinary, black, and didn't look like a very powerful magic weapon. However, this thing was given to Zhou by Tanghua just now. Zhou was not suitable to use a sword or a knife, he was suitable for close combat, and he was more resistant to beatings. Tanghua found a pair of boxing gloves in the system space. Although it looked ordinary, in fact, the things that she put in the system space were not ordinary. Junior Sister Tang, I feel that this pair of gloves are very suitable for me. I feel that I can exert several times my strength when I start using it. In the past, when I used a sword or a saber, I always felt that it was very awkward. I also tried a whip, but it didn't work. I can't exert my strength, I can't use it. However, after wearing these gloves, I feel like I can become one with them. Zhou was a little happy. Later, we will definitely be able to kill a lot of demonic beasts and gain a lot. Senior Brother Zhou like it, Senior Brother Zhou. I'm Tang to accept to junior sister disciple. Lu to kill star. I to use, to make to use. I seriously do. Zhou felt that this pair of gloves was not as ordinary as it looked on the surface. It. To him. Senior brother Zhou. Seeing that Zhou ignored her, the female cultivator stomped her feet angrily. She looked at Tang Guo with more and more disgust. If she didn't want to cooperate with Zhou, she wouldn't even look at this silly boy. Just a pair of ordinary boxing gloves, and he was so happy. He was too short-sighted. Junior sister Tang, the elder, asked us to form a team. Let's go. Zhou ignored the female cultivator and Tang Guo and went to meet Feng Gulin, making the female cultivator's face turn red. Chapter 35-40. That female cultivator didn't expect Zhou to completely ignore her and insist on teaming up with the weak chicken Tang Guo. Seeing that it was almost time, the elder urged her again. She could only reluctantly team up with the weakest Foundation Establishment disciple present. This Foundation Establishment disciple was also a bit nervous and a bit embarrassed. I've implicated senior apprentice sister Liang. Wu Mingxin was the weakest Foundation Establishment disciple present. Currently, he was only in the middle stage of Foundation Establishment, and he had just stepped into it. This time, half of the Foundation Establishment disciples and half of the Aurus Core disciples came. The reason he came was because he thought that with a sect elder leading the team, it would be safer than going out alone. He didn't expect to encounter such an awkward situation. Apart from himself, the others were all in the late stage of Foundation Establishment and above. Indeed, no one was willing to team up with him. Liang Wanhe was only in the Aurus Core stage. Teaming up with him was indeed a grievance. Liang Wanhe's expression wasn't very good, but there was no other way. Everyone else had gone to sign up, so she could only team up with Wu Mingxin. It's true that we're teaming up, but you're only in the middle stage of Foundation Establishment. When the time comes, you have to take care of yourself. When fighting against the demonic beasts, I only have a pair of eyes. It's inevitable that I won't be able to take care of myself. Wu Mingxin understood Liang Wanhe's meaning. She was disdaining him and didn't want him to be a burden. She also clearly told him that if there was any danger, he had to deal with it himself. Senior apprentice sister Liang, don't worry. I won't cause you any trouble. When the time comes, just deal with the demonic beasts. Don't worry about me. But this way, it would violate the principle of teaming up. Liang Wanhe wasn't willing to cooperate. Wu Mingxin didn't have the right to speak, so he didn't dare to say anything. He could only go along with her. And, when the time comes, the demonic beasts you hunt will belong to you. What she meant was that the demonic beasts she hunted also belonged to her. The two of them would each kill their own and wouldn't get anything from her. Under normal circumstances, when teaming up, things would indeed be divided up at the end. Wu Mingxin's expression was awkward, and he could only nod. He didn't have any objections to Liang Wanhe's arrangement. Who told him to be so weak? At this point, the disciples had finished teaming up. Tang Guo and Zhou were in a team, so Tang Xiang was naturally in a team with Zhou. Ji Qi was very strong, but Tang Xiang's strength was only average. Furthermore, her cultivation progress had been rather slow these past few years. Her cultivation progress was slow, not because of some inner demon, but because her talent was not good. In the beginning, she cultivated so quickly, but because she had lived an extra life, she had some experience. When she died in her previous life, she hadn't even surpassed the nascent soul stage. In that life, the resources she obtained were not as much as in this life. It took a Herculean effort to reach the golden core stage. In this life, If she did not obtain so many resources and some experience, she would not have been able to cultivate so quickly. Afraid that Yu Heng would notice something, she could only use Tanghua as an excuse. She claimed that it was because of her inner demon that her cultivation was slow. In fact, it was because her talent was not good. Her original speed was already like this. No matter how hard she worked, if her talent was not enough and there was no other way, how could she be faster? However, by using Tanghua as an excuse, she killed 2 birds with 1 stone and solved 2 big problems for herself. She knew that Yu Heng had the Chaos Flame Flower, so she had been waiting for an opportunity. Once she obtained the Primordial Flame Flower, her lack of talent would no longer be a problem. However, no matter how much Yu Heng doted on her, he would not give the Chaos Flame Flower to her for no reason. She had to find an opportunity to make Yu Heng give the Chaos Flame Flower to her willingly and without any objections from the rest of the sect. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.